got it. You've been here longer than I have.
No, sorry, you go for it. I just want to ask something that was raised earlier about moral like subjectivism. Hey, Seb, isn't moral subjectivism? Isn't that like a cognitive view?
But also, like, I'm like so
Yeah, it's
mad
a
that
cognitive view.
Right, but
like I'm so mad that the other guy's live crashed. Like it was such a good live, and there was like 60 people in there.
Bro.
There was like,
Yeah, subjectivism is a cognitive view. The thesis is just that people, when they express moral judgments, they're just like they're expressing their beliefs, or they're expressing. Some might say that they're expressing what they want the world to be like, but that sort of collapses into some
yeah.
form of non-cog, because then you have this view of fit of mind to world, which would be like some Humean non-cognitive view. But most of the time, it's just the thesis is that you're just expressing beliefs.
But okay, let's just make sure. But it was still more subjective. It would still be like a anti-realist view, though. Because I think I've heard someone say
Yeah.
it could be like a realist. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you're
No.
just
It would be if it's indexed to your beliefs about the world, right, and not indexed to the world, then it would be an anti-realist position, because then it's stance dependent, because a belief is a dog's stance.
Okay, I just heard wrong. All right.
but also Haru, if you're up here, if you're here, I hope he's in here. Haru, I didn't know it was your birthday yesterday. So happy
They were
birthday.
lying.
happy
What?
birthday.
Happy birthday.
They were lying.
Happy birthday, Haru.
What do you mean? Like I didn't know it was your
W
birthday
Haru in
yesterday.
the chat.
Nice.
Wait, did
I'm
you know your birthday?
still 20.
I wanted to actually have a conversation.
No, they were lying.
Oh, they were like, it wasn't your birthday. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go on ahead and go to bed now, but I hope you guys have a good rest of y'all's night.
Yeah, you too.
Good night,
I
Bear.
guess, I guess Chelsea, you can take lead, and like we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. We're probably gonna get into philosophy stuff, but like I guess you can take lead and like ask any question you want to.
The prompt, please, Chelsea.
Oh, that's okay. I'm okay just listening.
Hey, Cosmic. Well, how would you define evil?
How I would define evil?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's just a synonym with bad. I think it's when you say something's evil, you're just saying it ought not be done. Maybe you might want to like say that it's different insofar as when I say something's evil, it's different than saying something's bad, because evil might be some stronger word. So some people might say raping children is evil, but beating a grandma or like smacking your wife is bad. Maybe there's like some more oomph to the word evil, but I think they're synonyms.
They are pretty much similar.
Wait. Okay. Honestly, do you guys think that like my definition of evil towards the end was coherent, basically? So, like, if I told you I would define evil as like any displeasure or any immoral or uncalled for harm or wrongdoing to a certain
It
individual.
was coherent. I think they were just attacking your usage of it, like with your internal critique.
Interesting.
Paired
The
with
first
your
part of
internal
it,
critique.
the first part of what you said just sounded like suffering, though.
Yeah, and then suffering does like because there's a way that Exploring Reality like debated it against Captain Dadpool that I really liked, and he found a way to sort of create this umbrella and call it things evil, but say that like suffering is under that umbrella. It's like a type of evil, but also like Buddhist Bear was right. It's probably better to go like the gratuitous suffering route and say like, hey, there's this suffering in the world that we see. Is it justified? And all that. But yeah, like Buddhist was right in every single one of his critiques. But
I just don't. I just like. Maybe I could be misunderstanding the problem of evil because I just think. Look, I'm not even sure how much the definition matters. I mean, yeah, I could give a definition, and if you don't, I'm trying to compromise. If I give my definition, I do this internal critique. I say something's wrong with my definition, and I give an example of, hey, I think this moral cause is evil. But you still focused on like my definition, and when I give this example, I just don't know where to go. Like I could like, all right, let's say my definition, or let's use your definition. And unless he thinks that evil doesn't exist in his worldview, then I don't know. I don't know what that. I think that would be a bullet that he doesn't want to bite.
Yeah. Actually, I'm even curious to. He said he defines evil in a way where there's like no problem of evil, and so like, doesn't that interest you a
Does he
little bit?
take a reduction view of
Y'all
evil?
haven't
The
got an
person you're
answer for
talking
problem
about?
of evil yet.
Yeah, like that makes me a little bit like he didn't get to like define evil, but he said like he has a definition of evil that like
Well, does he take a
avoids
reductionist
evil.
view
Wait.
of evil?
Like we didn't know. He never like defined it, and like does that make like you guys like curious or like hungry a little bit to see like?
I mean, if he takes a
Yeah, I
reductionist
do.
view, I think
He was too
that's
busy
what
trying to
happened.
attack your viewpoint.
Can I pose a question really quick? Why do we always talk so heavily about evil and not define good as much?
The fuck?
Well, people do have a definition for good usually.
Because we like problems. I'm kidding.
Also, I feel like good is
That's
like
a problem, though.
I feel like good is just naturally intuitive, right? Just based on the definition.
I thought there was already a
No,
good
no,
answer
not
to
really.
EPO.
I would say just as bad is such a freaking diverse like definition for so many different people. I would say good is also the same. I would say it's based off
Everybody
of
needs to say the same.
Yeah, I would say like if I had to define good, I'd probably say like any rightful doing, any morally just action or event that occurs, or any like pleasure or advantage to like an individual. That'd probably be like my thing for
So
good.
is there an objective good and bad?
Yo, Coco, how's it going?
Hey, hey Matthew. Hey, also by the way, I feel like bad like the last time I spoke to you, and like yeah, like I just want to let you know, like I do like appreciate you, and I literally learn from you, and like you're really awesome.
Holy glaze.
I don't fucking hold anything. I don't ever hold grudges or nothing, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Everybody sim for Matthew.
Billy Badass over here. Holy shit.
Really quick though, Coco, I just wanted to say, I was talking with Constantine, and he would love if you set up a debate with Forrest, because Forrest is a professional weasel. And I just think it's so funny how Forrest always likes to throw ad homs at people, but he ducks debates from genuine intellectuals. I don't understand that.
I mean, if Forrest wants to take it, like I could set up that debate. Constantine is set to debate this guy named Dan, not Dan McClellan. No, this guy named Ben, on like whether Matthew was adoptionist, basically. So essentially, what they're debating about is like, did Jesus become God after he was baptized, or was he like the Son of God always? And Ben is arguing that like, yeah, like Matthew is adoptionist literature, while like Constantine is saying like, no, like Jesus was always the Son of God, and like the baptism didn't do anything. He was still of the same status. But yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I wanted to hop in on that like whole definition of good and bad kind of concept. I have a very simplistic way of defining good and bad that I think is real simple and easy for use in the conversation. Because when we're talking about problem of evil specifically, we're talking about moral good, moral bad, right? We're not talking preferential good, preferential bad. We're not talking about like, oh, I think this tastes good. I think that music sounds bad. We're talking the is-ought kind of concepts of bad. So when I'm talking bad, I simply say that good is that which is in alignment with a moral goal, and bad is that which is opposed to a moral goal. And if I want to take to the extremes, like whatever extreme you want to use for good, or evil is the extreme for bad, just push that as an extremely strong position against a moral goal.
Actually, I even like that. Like, I think like it could also apply for events, like things that ought happen and things that ought not happen. So I would say like a hurricane that's like wiping out like thousands of innocent people. Like I would say like this is like a natural evil of some sort. This ought not happen.
Yeah, because if you're talking about on the level of a deity, as in the problem of evil, any natural occurrence within the system is there due to the actions of the deity.
I wonder
Is that action in alignment with that deity's like moral goals?
I do wonder if someone like Russ would have just press on, well, what does it mean to align with moral goals, and why should I consider that to be, and why is that good, or something like that. I wonder, like I don't understand what the whole, because he wants to do. I hope he doesn't want to do something as lazy as what are you grounding it on.
I think think that's where it was going.
You say that
just going to
blatantly,
end
but
up
that's what I was
being
going to ask you.
it's just going to end up being definitional actually, because when we talk about morals, it doesn't matter which moral system you hold to, whether it's an objective moral system, a subjective moral system, any cognitive position, any like truth apt position that says like X is what ought be done. That is the goal of that system. Good would be in alignment with that. So whatever is good would be the ought, would be the moral. Whatever is bad would be counter to. It would be a flexible definition that would fit all the systems, at least all the cognitive systems.
Wait, okay. Low key, Sir and Just Jim, tell me, like, given the encounter that happened on the last live, if you had to grade me, like, what would you say? Like, how would you say I did?
I didn't listen to enough of it, so I.
Darn.
That I wonder is a big cornball, though. I mean, is he ever gonna? Is he allowed in this live? Is he here?
What
I mean, to be honest, like, I guess I'm ready to let bygones be bygones. I guess I can unblock him.
Yeah, unblock
I'm proud
the
of you.
cornball and invite him here. I mean, what is this? This guy, this guy in his question game, asking people what his view is. It's like, what in the world is going on here? Like, just give the argument.
Why do you even have him blocked, Coco?
Me and I wonder, like, we were friends a long time ago, but then, like, I don't know, it kind of, like, snowballed, and one of his mods kicked me off of his live, and I said, like, hey, you should manage your mods, and he got mad, and then I did talk shit, because, like, earlier, like, I don't know, earlier when I did this TikTok thing, I guess, like, I was, like, explosive and, like, cocky, and, like, I don't know, if someone wronged me, then I'm gonna, like, talk shit and, like, stuff, and maybe that's not the best thing, but yeah, and then like over time it just kind of snowballed, and like he was slandering my brand. I was yelling at him in lives, like screaming at the top of my lungs. Like it got bad. Just enemies.
Look at you, you're all grown up now, you're an adult.
Oh no, I'm not grown up at all. Like I literally talked shit about Wit like in the live, and also like last week. Like
wait,
I guess
I've never interacted with him, but he was wrong on like most of the things he said. I'm not gonna lie.
Who I wonder,
tell
he's
me-
wrong on most
Yeah.
things he says in general.
Cosmic, tell me, I believe in subjective morality.
Wait, hold on, but
Believe
actually,
in
like,
subjective morality.
Coco,
wait, actually, like, I'm gonna be completely honest. Like I don't know. Like, Wit's sort of a jerk. Like, and I used to like glorify her, but she also just doesn't track conversations. Like, she's actually like dumb as a rock. Like, she doesn't
Coco,
track the
I tried
conversation.
to send this to Wonder. Did you happen to unblock him?
All right, here, let me see. Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Invited him too.
I don't understand I don't understand the whole spat you have with Wit right now. I still don't get it. I mean,
I don't understand why there has to be a competition of
I don't
and,
understand.
like
I just think
smarts
Coco just
and
like to.
intellect.
Yeah, Coco, I
Why,
don't-
please into though.
Okay. Wait, hold on,
Why
let's
does
see
there
if I can-
why does there need to be a competition between smarts and intellect
Because it's
about
morally wrong to be dumb.
well, look, I mean, I don't have a problem. Look, I don't have a problem with who's smarter or any of that. None of that matters to me. What I have a problem with is the dishonesty, right, and the cowardness, right, and the people that misrepresent what other people's positions are and don't bother to understand what people are saying. Like that's what I have. A problem.
Let me tell you, sir, President I Wonder take the cake.
I think dishonesty is one of the major problems as well.
That whole group, President I Wonder, fucking
Look,
Justin
this-
W. Don't get me wrong, Justin W. ain't that bad of a guy.
Justin W. is not that.
Dishonesty. He's been
Yeah,
very dishonest. He's been in the
I
past.
was about to say,
There's some very smart people on this panel that are equally dishonest, and
I'm working
I
on it.
equally
I see so many
Sir,
people
sir,
have
I need
problems
you
with
to-
Justin, but every time I've interacted with him, like he's been pretty spot on.
No,
Yeah, I like
Justin's-
Justin.
No,
Justin's
I've
good.
heard some stuff,
Justin's good.
bro.
No, I've had instances. I've had like 3 conversations. Sorry for the background. I've had 3 conversations with Justin. All 3, he's been dishonest in some way or another.
well,
Hey,
one
sir,
time I did have
sir.
a conversation with Justin where I think he was inebriated, so I'm just going to chalk it up to that. But he was saying very weird stuff to me, like just using terms that made no sense to the conversation. But other than that, I've had all positive interactions with him.
Sir, I need you to name the people on the panel that you believe have been dishonest.
What's the question?
I need you to name the people on the panel, sir, that you feel have been dishonest.
Wonder said he's blocked.
I would say
okay.
everybody
I just unblocked him on my iPad.
everybody on this panel has been dishonest on TikTok, including myself.
Me too. Like I've had my
I'm
moments.
sure. I'm sure everybody here has
Not
been
me.
dishonest at one
My
point in
my
time,
TikTok live career
but
is
I
short lived.
attempt to
I'm gonna
not
be
be
honest.
dishonest whenever possible.
Prince, what you just said was dishonest.
These
I'm not gonna
people,
lie. This might sound very cocky. I don't think I have been dishonest in
I
any
don't think I have
conversation.
been dishonest too. Maybe I may have been mistaken.
look, these people have been
Tricking,
running lives.
yes.
These people have been running lives for 2 years, right? Knowing jack all about meta ethics and claiming that atheists can't ground morality. They've been doing this for 2 years, right? Anytime anyone that knows even a lick about the topic tries to inform them on it, they block, mute, and kick them.
That's true. Like, wait, 2 years they've been doing this shit?
It's not just a one-off occasion. This is their whole identity.
Well, it's just.
We couldn't hear what you
But
said.
to be to be fair, to their
Hello, Paul.
in their view, right? Like for example, sir, would you say that if there's more than like, would you say that if two meta-ethical views be true at the same time? Two moral realist views be true at the same time?
Two more realist views be true at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some instances where that can be, but
Some sort of semantics where it
there
works.
could be
Like
there
maybe
could be
maybe like all 4 or 5.
like let's
realist
say
views.
someone was like, look, I think there are some. This would be a weird view, but someone could say, I think there are some moral facts that exist in some Platonic realm, and some moral facts that are natural facts. Someone could have a weird view like that, I guess. Like they're not contradictory. They don't have to be contradictory. If that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
Okay, so we could have
Like they're not contradictory.
multitude of realist views at that point, as long as they're like mind independent.
As long as they don't contradict each other.
Wait, also, wait, hold on. Okay.
That would be weird to
Wait, hold
have
on.
there.
I wonder if you're in here. Yeah, feel free to join the panel. Like, I'm willing to let bygones be bygones.
And let this shit go.
Yeah, like.
No, I'm not. I'm not willing to let anything be big. And I wonder, you're a total cornball.
Okay, no, stop. No. I wonder.
Wait, sir, have they really been doing this? Like present fucking? I wonder. What's
Yes.
his name? They've been doing this for 2 years.
Yeah.
Legit.
Well,
Yeah.
look, maybe
I've been here
maybe it's
for a
only been
long
year.
time,
It's
yeah.
been-
I'm willing
it's
to
been
let
a
it
long
slide.
time.
I'm literally tired.
Prince.
Look, it's just
Okay,
the-
mean, sure, like,
hold
a
on,
year is
Really
crazy.
quick. Here's my thing, right? Like, at the end of the day, Christian or atheist, I think like all of us, we're chasing truth, we're chasing peace, right? I just think people should like be kind to each other. I get frustrated with people when like they are dishonest or maybe like spread misinformation or like their mods like mute me, kick me, or like mod abuse me or talk shit about the project that I'm doing. And I guess like for these individuals, I was like super frustrated, and for like months, I was like, I hate them at the sight of them. But at the end of the day,
Damn.
like at the end of the day, like I want peace, and I just want to like find the truth. And like yeah, like over time, I just get tired, and like I'm not angry at them anymore.
You know what we call that? We call that growing up, son.
But I don't know. Like just be a good person. Just be nice. Be decent.
Look at
Dude,
look
Coco was
at
like-
it
Don't
took
be
bro
like-
3 years. It took bro 3
Yeah.
years to get here.
Bro,
Being honest,
Yeah.
I
3 years
don't think
for-
everybody's here trying
I
for
have no
truth or
enemies.
peace.
I was gonna
don't.
say. Well,
Coco,
I
Coco's
think
like that
people
one
are
video.
here
Wait.
with dishonesty to cause trouble.
Coco's like that
wait.
one video of the guy who's like, "I hate you, bro. Let's die."
Oh god.
yeah,
but
like
wait.
literally just
Every
like all people should do is just be decent to people. Just be nice. Don't abuse your mod powers. Don't slander people. Don't spread misinformation. Like be open minded. Hear what people have to say. Just be decent.
I'm not against.
Hear what people have to say. Literally, like the
Yeah, I
reason,
like
Oh.
slandering people.
the reason I go after people is because I don't know. People just like I don't know. People
Just
wanna
let
be
it go, man.
listened
Look,
to.
we've all look.
I don't know.
There's so many lives I get kicked and dropped in mod abuse. You know, they don't want to conversate. You keep it pushing, man. You just move on.
Man, at the
Listen,
end of the
just
day,
call
we're
him
doing
an R
all
word
of
and
this
then push
meta,
repeat.
and
Yeah.
Wonder's not joining. What the hell is going on?
Literally,
The-
like
the-
to be
the
fair,
thing is-
I understand why he
Chaos.
wouldn't want to join. There's what's the point? I mean, there's 8 people. Well, besides Chelsea, everyone else up here presumably disagrees with him. So
No,
to-
Prince
to-
is a
to be
theist.
fair-
No, we
Pretty
hold
sure.
the same views, but he was definitely wrong about a few of the things that he was saying to Coco.
Yeah, to be for real, like I've talked like mad shit against I Wonder, but I But I wonder.
Shit about a lot of people. It's nothing new.
We've been
It's
ugly
nothing
to each other.
different.
But don't let me disrespect him. Let me give him his flowers as well, because he did offer Coco a really good verse. The Corinthians verse was pretty good.
I also want to say counteract my karma here. I think I Wonder has an excellent voice.
I Wonder's voice is awesome.
One of the best voices I've
I Wonder like, is a really good voice.
They stuff about his
profile pic, I guess.
Great voice.
I think the only person that might have a better voice than him on the app is Deathless.
Or
has a peak voice.
I can't stand his
G1
voice
probably got the
anymore.
best
No, I love it.
There's too much of an association with his personality to the voice. I can't stand it anymore.
That
I
guy's
would
good
say
part.
that at first, but the association now just kills it for me. I can't do
No,
it.
that's the good part, Matthew.
That guy can make so much money.
That's the good
That guy
part.
can make so
Nice.
much money doing audiobooks.
Bro, I every time someone clips Deathless, every time I scroll down, it's the best thing ever. Like, what was the last clip I saw? Someone clip of Deathless. What bro said. Bro, okay, yeah, I remember. Okay, it was Haru and Sir and Kiki and Deathless, and I was a clip. I forgot. Maybe Kiki clipped it, and
Oh yeah,
Deathless was like,
he was on a roll that night. That was like 2 nights ago.
bro was like, why are all my enemies so rude?
Dude, I just came up. This is all I have to do now. I just came up on the panel, and I was like, Deathless, can you just do your catchphrase real quick? That's all I have to say. And he's immediately like, "You're a fat, bloated artard, blah blah blah. You're an idiot."
My favorite moment of Deathless. It happened recently when you were on my panel, sir, with J Mike, and you were asking him what happened with Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like, well, listen, sir. There was a moment in which I was spanking your belly rolls, and that caused the earth to shake in such a way.
Yeah, you just have to ask him like the dumbest things, and he gets so upset.
Bro, Deathless said, bro sounds like Kermit the Frog on a live from Syphilis.
This is like wild stuff.
His
I'm
rhetoric
not gonna hold you.
Well, no, that line was about Haru, I think, not me. That's Kermit the Frog stuff.
Oh, it's so
Bro,
insane
like,
hearing him
all my
talk.
enemies are Rotan.
Dude, I like when he goes on those rants where he like insults me for 30 seconds at the end. I like to just throw out. He's just joking, everybody. Me and him are pals.
How does it feel to lose?
Because it gets more upset.
How does it feel to lose?
How's it feel to lose?
How does it feel to get your
I
back blown
tried
out?
to clip that. I kept trying to get him to say that so I could clip it and do it at the end of the Russell versus me debate.
You lost. You lost. How's it feel to lose?
Dude, my favorite one is when he goes, "I'm the second dumbest motherfucker I know."
Yeah, that is.
And
good.
you just lost to me.
I need those quotes. Can someone please record him the next time you see him and get those quotes for me and send them to me?
Will you unblock Wit?
No.
Well, she's asking to be unblocked. She just messaged me.
Fuck that hoe. No.
Wait, time out. Says 5 minutes ago, everyone needs to be nice and be peaceful.
No, I was expecting this too. Bro, be hypocrite.
Bro, like, it's literally
okay. Hold on.
Are exactly like
hold
that
on.
one video.
So I'm
just
trying.
Unblock her.
Okay, like I'm trying to work on it. I want to like.
Just unblock her.
Oh no, like okay, so like I'm trying to work on it. Like I want to set an example, right? And I do understand that when people wrong you and you choose to like.
Well, how did she even wrong you? Really?
Well, hold on. Like when people wrong you,
Coco's a secret Christian.
Wait, hold on. When people wrong you and you choose to like wrong them, it makes you look bad, and you want to be like the bigger and better person. But also, like, I can like
Just Jim.
Like I can like forgive somebody or be angry at somebody.
I know Jim had a top block.
Like I'm not gonna let Wit back up in here. Wit
let Coco finish.
Wit has done so many Wit has violated me in so many different ways. Well, like
what?
Some people pay good money for that.
No, not like
look,
that.
Can I just say? I just want to look. Like, let me just give my perspective, an outsider, what happened here. Okay. This is Coco's last straw to it. Listen to this, everybody. Everyone, lock in for this one. Okay. So there is this guy being racist on Coco's day of debates thing about Jewish people, right? And because he was being racist, this other person we know, this other lady we know, came up and started trolling that guy. And Coco's like, stop trolling them. Now, this is on the Day of Debates channel, not on Coco's channel. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Coco blocked her because she did it a second time with that same guy. Right. And then Wit reached out to the other owners of the Day of Debates channel because, by the way, Day of Debates has a 3-person ownership. Right.
Yeah.
And Coco asked one of the other owners to unblock her friend who got blocked by Coco. And that was Coco's last straw.
But here, let me explain.
So now she's a hoe, and now she's a dirty sea bag and all this other stuff.
Wait, hold on.
And Coco won't unblock her.
Wait, let me.
There's more to it, but that was the point that crossed the line.
Yeah. So
that's the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
It's not
So
the entirety, but it's there.
Well, actually, technically, the straw that broke the camel's back was like something else. But like, okay, so basically, so I host debates. I debate people. That's what I do on TikTok. I'm trying to do it for a living. Day of Debates is like a channel that's ran by me and like 2 other individuals to bring professional debates to TikTok. So we're hosting like professional events on there. So like, obviously, like I have anxiety and like I overthink. And like Jeff for Truth debated this Christian person and he lost. And then like out of nowhere, Jeff says the most like anti-Semitic thing ever. And like I get what point he was trying to make, but like he just words it in a really bad way. I'm like in shock and like panicking and like terrified trying to deal with the situation. And so right now is not the time to like make jokes. And so, you know, Wolverine comes up and she's like making jokes at
I haven't
like
seen Wolverine in a while.
yeah, Wolverine comes up and she's making jokes at Jeff Truth's expense. And like, look, make jokes at like anti-Semitic people. That's great. But like, now's not the time. I'm having anxiety trying to fix this thing that's happening with a professional event and like save us from like PR like destruction. And like I set a boundary and I say, no, stop making jokes. We're trying to deal with something right now. Chill. I drop her to the comments. She comes up and like disrespects me and makes like another joke. So clearly defying like the boundary I set. So I block her. And like what Wit does is she decides to go behind my back and go to the other 2 owners of Day of Debates and try to get them to unblock Wolverine for the event. And I'm like, you could have just come to me. But also like, fuck you for going behind my back, trying to like mess up the project.
But don't you think that if she were to go to you, that you probably would have had some bias or something because of it?
Exactly. Cosmic, thank you. I'm glad you're on the panel.
What is anti-Semitic?
Confirmation bias.
Yeah, but like I set a boundary and like people
Chelsea,
know me.
what did you say?
What?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt anybody.
No, please, Chelsea. What did you say?
Yeah, do your thing.
What does anti-Semitic mean?
Like something that's negative toward Jewish people.
Towards
What he
Jewish
said
people.
was that basically what he said was that
Counter to Semitic peoples.
he said Jewish people don't exist because there was no Abraham.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's
And so
basically
like,
I've heard worse.
I'm sorry.
I've heard worse anti-Semitic
it's,
stuff.
the way he said it was very.
It
Out
was
of
focused.
You sure
Yeah.
it was anti-Semitic and not just him being stupid?
Yeah, well,
Well, it's
it
probably
was
a combination
it
of
was
both.
I don't
yeah,
think he would know the difference, right? But
he
it
worded
was
it in a
both.
bad way. And do I think Jeff is like an anti-Semite? I think he worded what he was trying to say in a bad way.
Oh, I think he is.
He might be like,
He's a Roman provenance guy. Of course, he's
but
an
but you know like historically I've been known on TikTok to like not have a backbone and like when people you know defy like my boundaries I kind of just let them slide. And so I was finally like setting a boundary and blocking Wolverine. And I'm at this point of like, okay, we're doing something professional. You're not going to defy me. Wit goes behind my back to get other owners of this company I'm trying to make to defy the order that I set. And I think like, fuck you. That's like disrespectful to me. Like if you lived in a house with three people owning the house and someone took a shit on Sir's couch, right? And Sir is like, this person doesn't get to come into this house anymore. And then that person or their friend goes behind Sir and tries to get the other two roommates to let them into the house. That's disrespectful to Sir. Sir set a boundary, and they're going behind him to get other people to undo
What a
his
beautiful
boundary.
analogy.
Like
Wait,
that's fuck, right?
Coco. I think the analogy would be, so Matthew is in this
No,
house
the
with
analogy was
Sir.
perfect, Haru. The analogy was perfect.
Wow.
Yeah, but like that's fucked. Someone saw that I set a boundary, went behind my back to get people to undo my boundary, and like that's
No, it's a pretty
I
shitty thing
think
to
I
do.
think a better analogy would be someone else shit in the house, and we had a friend there that was making fun of the person for shit in the house, and you kicked the friend out, and that friend was a mutual friend of everyone in the house, and also a mutual friend of this other person, and that other person convinced the other two friends, or tried to convince the other two friends to let her friend back in the
An
house.
accidental couch hitter.
Yeah.
It happens to every. It happens to the best of us. You know?
It's an incidental shitting.
We've all shit on the couch.
So I would say that along with like her abusing mod powers in the past, not taking my platform seriously, and then also like some drama broke out between two individuals who I'm not going to name, and Wit hadn't spoken to me in months. Wit doesn't come onto my lives, but she spends a bunch of time on like AR's live, which is fine. AR's an awesome person, go to his live, but she hadn't talked to me in months, and then she only comes around to get drama from me when this whole thing is breaking down and I'm trying to protect my friend who's going through like shit and has actually been there for me while Wit was gone doing like whatever the fuck. And like I understand like people have busy lives, but if someone just like doesn't come around or talk to an individual and only comes around when they need drama or need something, like that's kind of fucked a little bit, combined with like all the other like ways she's like slighted me. So that kind of broke the straw's back, and I was like, this person's not my friends. They just want to benefit off the gossip and like go behind me and defy my boundaries and do a bunch
Okay,
of
look, you guys cannot be friends though, and her still be able to like interact with your platform. I don't understand.
Only if he allows it. It's his platform.
I get it's his choice. I just don't understand all the slander and like what's a C and all this other stuff.
There's more
there's
animosity than you understand or you think is justified. I can get that too.
Yeah, I get that
Yeah,
too.
like-
Like, I think that's just
Well-
Coco's personal feelings at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bottom
like-
line is whoever owns the platform makes the final decision, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, like
Yeah. Of course.
like I used to be this chill guy. When people like did something mean to me, I would just let it slide. I didn't like confrontation, and everybody just walked all over me.
I think
and
you
like
did like a medium.
yeah, and like I want to be a good person. I don't want to be like a bad person, but also like I realize that doesn't mean like letting everybody into your space and everybody's entitled to your life and people can fuck you over and you just don't do anything about it. Like no, you have to set clear boundaries and be like, this is not healthy. You're not good for me. So you don't get to be a part of my life. And that's a privilege, right? I think it's a privilege for me to be a part of anybody's life up here on this panel. So if you guys take that away from me, that's your choice and like I don't deserve it. And like same thing for me and other people. Like if someone lets you into their life, treat it with respect and don't just do whatever the fuck that you want to do.
Yeah, don't shit on people's couches, guys.
And I think like the reason that people like sort of defied my boundaries or were doing whatever they wanted to do was because like I sort of let them and like I didn't have self-confidence and I just like I insulted myself and I let people insult me, but like it's gotten to a point where like no, I like myself. I think I work really hard. I don't deserve to get treated like shit by some Eastern Orthodox single mom drunk.
Haru said that you should be meaner.
Like, yeah, like I don't deserve to be disrespected by some Eastern Orthodox single mom drunk. Like, no, go be drunk.
That's crazy. I don't think what is a drunk. What the fuck?
Well,
I think
that's a little much.
Not constantly, at least.
That's a little much.
The main point here is
on occasion,
Coco, you know, his feelings and boundaries was disrespected, and he's coping and dealing with it the best way that makes sense to him. And that is what it is there, you know.
I don't think he's doing it in a horrible way.
Not a horrible.
I mean, there could be a better way, but it's not the.
He's a bit vocal about it, but it's not horrible.
I was gonna say the amount of and I understand the amount of animosity, but the amount of animosity and vitriol that you use openly, right, towards her, is also going to be hard and harmful to you, Coco.
Yeah.
So I would watch that, but I definitely understand. Like keep your boundaries. You deserve to keep your
Like
boundaries.
Coco, one thing you do too much. Do you ever feel like you feel too much, Coco? Like you have this ability to like feel tense.
Yeah, like I do sort of have that problem. Like, I don't know, whenever I come on TikTok and like I interact with people, I'm really like quick to say like this person's my friend and like you're part of my family now and like I would die for you. But like I'm realizing like other I'm
It
realizing
is
like
TikTok. Do
yeah,
not
yeah,
think like that.
yeah, I know. Like I'm realizing that like I'm realizing other people don't view me the same way. They're just like this guy's like just
Coco.
some random internet
Coco,
dude
how
from
many
the internet.
people? Okay, Coco, don't tell me who. Just give me a number. If you were to die, like tomorrow, right? How many people on this app do you think are going to be thinking about you to the day that they die?
Literally like nobody.
Oh, I think
How many people do you think are like
How it is,
gonna
Coco.
grieve
I
you?
don't know.
How
I
many
fucked
people do
up,
you
Well,
think
Coco.
wait,
are
I'm
the
gonna
day
hold
the
it.
day we die, the day
I
we die is
bet
kind
there'd
of.
be more
Wait,
than
but
that.
here,
I would be
Coco, how many
devastated.
people?
That's
Wait,
fucked
wait,
up,
Coco,
Coco.
I
how many
think there's a
Really?
greater
people do
than
you
zero
think?
number.
Wait, Coco, how many
I'm
people do you
definitely
think are
one.
gonna grieve you the same way that they would grieve like a close family member?
I think maybe like I have like 11,200 followers. I think like maybe 1,000 people would grieve me like
So you think 1,000 people are gonna grieve you as though they just lost their
Well,
own
wait.
brother?
I think
I was
well,
about
I
to
don't
I
say
know,
that's
think
I
a
if
don't
little
Coco
know.
high.
passed away, look, you remember when Ethan passed away? How big of a deal that was? I think Coco. I don't know if he'd be a
I
bigger
think it'd
deal,
be
but I think
I
he
think it'd
would
be
be on par.
similar. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Coco, I don't know. Maybe because I actually
I wouldn't
talked
be
to
at
you
all
off the.
surprised.
I've talked to you off the app a little bit. I
Yeah.
mean, we live in the same city. I don't know. It'll be weird.
No, and
To me,
actually
at
like
least,
Well,
it'll be weird
maybe
if
it
you
might
listen
even
to
be
me.
a bigger deal because Coco has less enemies than Ethan did. So
and actually actually Bobby, we are going to meet up in real life. Actually, Bobby and Matthew, we are going to meet up in real life and we are going to debate people in real
Eventually,
life. I have to like I do plan to buy a table, to get permits, to get like a sign, and we're gonna debate people in real life, and like it's gonna be a whole thing. I have to pay money and like fund it.
Don't worry, you don't have to fund it alone.
Yeah,
Like,
you
no
won't
one
be
has to fund it
funding it,
alone.
man.
it's gonna be great.
There's no reason you would have to do
Do
that.
it alone. But no, just take your time. No rush, man. We're chilling.
Yeah. We're gonna hang out before I die for sure.
No, just I want to say, all I'm saying, Coco, is that like
what's the
you
argument for
feel
that?
you know how to feel a lot, and maybe like everyone here is gonna say, yeah, you're entitled to your feelings and all that. But I
Yeah,
think what Tashi's trying to say, maybe Sarah or whatever, is trying to say like there's a way to like
Yeah, like you're
I don't
entitled to your
know.
feelings, but it's TikTok, bro. Come on.
I mean,
yeah. I think
I mean, look, like I don't want to invalidate.
I'd be pretty tore up myself.
I think
Yeah,
like
I would admit that.
I don't know,
I just
like
say,
I connect to people too much, and I think like once I realized it wasn't really reciprocated, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have tighter circles and not
Like
really like let everybody
you
in.
can
that's fair.
you can think that like you're very close with people on the app, but how close really are you? Right? Like how much do you know about Bobby to where Bobby would say, yeah, you know the same amount as like my sister or something. I don't know
Here's a
if you're a sister.
question. Here's a question. You have a 2 hour
I don't think
drive.
I'm close with anyone like that here.
You have a 2 hour drive to the person. How many people on TikTok, assuming you were 2 hour drive for them, would you drive to their funeral if they passed away?
I think there's
lot.
like
I would absolutely go to Coco's
Nope.
funeral.
Like
Yeah,
Coco's
that's
2 hours
there's
probably
away.
actually a
I'm
go for
couple
pulling
the
that
up,
their
I
bro,
funeral.
gang.
would go to.
I like
Coco,
You think
you
driving.
it's
2
more
hours
than
away, bro. I'm pulling up for your funeral, gang.
you think it's more than 20
Absolutely.
people
I'll do
though
the
on
same.
TikTok that you know?
I think no, I don't think it's more than 20 for me.
Maybe like 100 people I drive like
100? Holy
100's a
fuck.
stretch, but like yeah, 100 people
The, the, the
at
bit is
most.
that I've been
I think
talking
there's
to
like
you guys for
15.
like 3 fucking years
Wow.
now. I've talked to you
Oh,
guys
yeah,
for 3 years.
there's people on TikTok that I talk to more often and have been talking to longer than people I consider family.
Yeah, I would actually look.
Maybe it's different for me because I'm new to the app, but like
Maybe
I don't know.
that's
I think
why.
there's like only like 15 that I'd
No, because
go to.
Coco, Matthew, Sir, Just Jim, Tosh. I mean, we've been
Yeah, I would drive to
like
all your funerals.
Coco. We've been here for like 3 years now. 4
Yeah,
years.
absolutely. Okay, actually, like, okay, I don't talk to Just Jim that much, but also, like, Just Jim is like the one person out of everybody who hasn't really wronged me. And like, I would catch a flight to New York and go to like his funeral.
If
What about me?
Jim was around, I would definitely catch a drink with Jim and just like talk about his views.
I
You
would
would fly all the way to
get,
New
like,
York?
I would
I
grab
would have done that on a Saturday.
I would grab a drink with just
Bro,
Jim.
if Tosh lived like here in Texas, bro, you would probably get sick of me honestly because you throw a ton.
No, but
Nah,
past
man.
past
Every
the
sport is
like
fun.
getting a drink with somebody, there's a few of these people that I would seriously just let crash on my couch.
You want to know what I
Oh
think?
yeah, like
Oh,
yeah.
by the
I
way,
think I think that's a pretty big metric. If you let them into your home and let them crash on your couch, that's a pretty big thing.
Bobby and Coco, I should be in Texas in February.
My
Oh,
birthday,
to be
nice.
honest, like yeah. To be honest, like fuck it, like Tosh and Bobby, like I'll set some time aside and like yeah, we can hang out. I'll like grab like
Th-
some fancy
This
clothes and like something.
this might be a hot take. This might be a hot take, but I kind of think funerals are overrated. I mean,
Oh,
I
I do
think
too.
no, I
I do
think
too.
funerals are boring. I think there's a lot of boring ass funerals. I think basic funerals are sort of boring. I've always said that if like for
if
my
I die,
funeral,
none of you motherfuckers come to my funeral. There's no need.
I like celebrations of life.
no, I'd go to Sir's funeral. Don't get me wrong. Like Sir, you're on that list of 15. But like I've always said, funerals are usually very boring. I want to be sent off in two ways. One, like a Viking shit, like put on like a
Hell
wooden boat
yes.
and then like fiery arrow shot at me.
Respect.
Or two, just turn me into a tree. You know how much like
I want to be a
more
tree.
auriful that
Oh my
is, bro?
god.
That's
Yeah,
so much
I'm
cooler
with the
than
tree.
being put in like a fucking box.
That's one of my dreams.
I take that list.
Oh, I might go to Death's funeral just because I want to see what's going on.
Oh,
Wait,
I'd love
wait,
to go to
actually, like
Deathless's
like
funeral and meet like
He's
his
probably has a
family.
whole band set up, and
I would
Holy shit!
simply go to say, how does it feel like to lose?
Oh my god.
That's all I would do, and then I would leave.
if I die and there's some sort of TikTok memorial,
I'm not gonna lie,
please
that's
have
funny.
Deathless run it. Please have Deathless give a speech.
Oh, that's funny.
Yo, his family might be psychotic. He might come after you, bro. I'm not gonna
Bro,
lie.
no, yeah. He talks about how psychotic his family is. I actually believe him. I believe every word Deathless says. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
like.
I don't think he lies.
I don't think he's lying to me when he says anything he's saying.
I genuinely think that everything that comes out of his mouth, he either one truly believes it, or two, it's actually true.
Bro was begging, bro. Like, please, I'm begging you, be nice to me.
You think he's an MMA coach? You think that's true?
I think that he at least at some point was an MMA coach.
Yeah, I actually do not know why how he's walking around.
You know
with
what's
that kind of
funny?
mentality.
So he was doing these. He was going through this like. I did a little digging into him, and he went through this like stretch where he was trying to get interviews on podcasts and stuff. And all the title that he gave himself was former. I'm trying to remember how he put it. Former nominee for like some like state house seat. Just a nominee.
Oh yeah, that guy's
Like
that guy's deranged.
that's not even an accomplishment.
Wait,
He didn't win. He was just a nominee.
did
Yeah, that
y'all
guy's
know?
It's an honor just to be nominated.
Anyone can nominate themselves for a house seat.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
But did y'all know Deathless puts his name in his videos, like his full name?
Actually,
he says his
Oh
name
yeah,
online.
he has zero like position of trying to hide who he is. He does not care at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Deathless
says
told
his
his
name.
address
He says his name several.
multiple
Yeah,
times.
he says his
He
name.
would drop his address like meet me here. Like
actually, now that you say
Well, he
it,
just knows nobody is ever going to.
A priori.
actually, now that you say it,
I've dropped my address on here. I pray somebody comes to my house, man. I would love to meet y'all.
Okay.
I've given my address to people on TikTok before.
Well, give Deathless some motivation. He'll find a way out there.
I'm sure he would.
Coco,
I went on to a live with him one day. All I did was wrote down everything he said for like half an hour. I just didn't say a damn thing. And then I just went through everything he said and pointed out the contradictions in the things he said. He was so angry. And then he just went and like flipped his rhetoric and did the exact same thing. How's it feel like to lose stuff?
to lose.
He's the best.
Actually, now that you say it, Cosmic or whatever he said, I think for me, like, I'll have like a playlist I want people to play at my like funeral, and then like I guess yeah, like I want to be turned into ashes, and I want someone to plant an oak tree in my ashes or like next to my ashes, and I want to be a tree for someone to put like a tire swing on, and like people can just have fun on my tree.
Look, people can do whatever they want with my body. I just don't want
Honestly,
anyone to bury me.
don't donate to look some kid that needs it. You can use whatever parts you need for for
Just
Okay,
something.
whatever.
donate
I
your
don't
body
care.
to science. Sign your
Like,
donor card, then donate
Just
your
do
body to
not bury
science.
me. I'm like I don't think anything happens to me after I die, but I'm terrified of being buried underground. It would be the scariest thing.
Just the concept of being buried underground,
Yeah, just knowing that's where I'm gonna
even if
be
you're
my
not
whole.
conscious of it, that's just a creepy
Yeah, that's where I'm gonna be
concept.
forever. Is underground in some fucking small box. No, fuck that shit. Burn me.
yeah, give whatever you can give to some person and then burn the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my position right now in my current last will and testament is I have my donor ID card signed, and anything left of my body is to be donated to science.
Speaking of being buried
That's it.
alive, um, Kill Bill.
Hmm.
They did
Hmm.
like they re-released it in the theaters as like they stitched the two movies together,
Oh, nice. Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
they changed the chronological order a little bit where it's more linear, and they added to the anime scene, and they made when she fights the crazy 88, they made all that in color. It's
Oh,
fucking
nice.
amazing. It's like a real
That
samurai
actually
film
sounds
now.
really good now.
Yeah, it's like a 4-hour film. It's so good. I mean,
Well,
it really
it was
fits.
good before, but
Yeah, I
that
know, but
sounds
it's
like some
like
positive changes.
I didn't like. I wasn't. I liked it a lot because I like everything Tarantino does, but it was like kind of on the lower end of my Tarantino films. But now that it's stitched together in one long samurai type film, I think it might be. I think it might be in my top 3 Tarantino films now.
Oh, wow.
It's so good.
That's a that's a pretty big praise.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna head out.
Laters.
Now the goose is here. I'm just kidding. Goose when I come to the door.
Oh wait, someone wanted to come up. Oh, but I didn't see them in the guest request. Okay, yeah, I'll be around, but I got to do something really quick.
Wait, who's
Oh,
coming up?
Oh,
I
and
think I
Bobby, you're in charge. I'll be back.
no problem.
I'd
Yeah.
go to Bobby's funeral.
Bobby, can you substantiate that you aren't a brain in a vat?
Yeah. I'm gonna. I
It's going to
can't.
be the inference to the best explanation that I'm not in a vat.
I was about to give like
I have a
some
decent
argument
inductive
for like
argument for
solipsism
it.
against solipsism, but that won't work for like brain of bat. Is there any argument to prove that you're not a brain of bat actually?
You can make some
Yeah,
decent
humor.
inductive
Do you know who?
arguments,
Do you know
but
who Mason is?
What about Mason?
Do you know who he is?
Yeah, sure. We
Well,
all know
on
who
his
he is.
YouTube channel, he actually has a video with Michael Humer talking about, or Humer is giving arguments against this brain in a vat thing.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's like an hour-long video of Mason and Humer talking.
is Mason much? I guess it's more chill on his YouTube video. I'm assuming. I was the same
Well,
on
I would
like this.
assume so because it is Michael Humer. So, I
Because
know, like on his server, at least he's a lot more like I know, like when he comes to TikTok, most of the people he's talking to are levels below him in terms of like philosophical knowledge. So I know most of the time he just comes onto this app and just starts fucking around for fun. But at least in his server and on his YouTube channel, he's much more
it's
well presented in some
straightforward and
way.
strict
Yeah,
about his presentations.
I
yeah.
remember when I first came
Nothing
on,
funny.
Mason and Valid Eric, you used to like run around to different TikToks, almost like this squad pair. Just like they'll
I've
hop
never
on at
met
the same time.
Eric. I started to like I when I first joined the app, I think like area 9.
Just heard people talk
It's
about it.
just straightforward. Bro is a psycho. Not only that, but there's a video on Monkey Boy's channel where he joins a panel that Monkey Boy's on and a bunch of other people, and he's just waving a gun up to his face. And he's like, pull up or something like that. Or I'm gonna pull up. Like, what the fuck you talking?
Have you guys actually listened to Q Talk like music videos, like genuinely?
He makes music? Oh my god.
Bye Chelsea.
Hey, I was gonna ask her
is a
some
weird
Christian
guy.
questions, man. See, you guys be scaring people, bro.
Chelsea is legitly nice. Like, she's so nice. I was wondering why she hangs around like
I've only talked with Chelsea once, and it was on, I think,
Joy and Presence Live.
Yeah, and she was the only person who was nice.
Yeah, she's actually nice, but like
the rest are just dishonest idiots.
Like, it's so I don't know. I'm still thinking about. I want Russ to come back. I was hoping that after like Jay went dead, that he'll come back because I really want him to like.
This is gonna be a shower thought conversation, but bro, as I like explore the world of philosophy and I like talk to you people that understand these things way more than me, and then obviously there's people that are smarter than all of us combined that are like on both sides of the coin, atheists and theists. I really like just wonder like what it is that separates the two when it comes to like when you truly understand all of these like
personal experience, just anecdotal experience. That's all it is.
What? I'm not understanding that question.
It's just gonna be you're gonna have priors for supernatural. That's it.
What? I'm not understanding the question.
I think I think it's a question about like if you have two individuals both with the same information and access to the same knowledge, why would they come to two different conclusions?
Basically,
I think it might just be like some like prior thing, or maybe sometimes people just.
But I just meant like specifically when it comes to philosophy because I don't know, when I watch you guys do these debates, like I feel like you guys are coming from these perspectives where you like have this certainty that your frameworks are 100% sure.
No, I think for me, genuinely, like I don't know if you were here when I was talking to like the Thomas, like what's her name? What's his name? Like Jim Hero, and then there was there's Hero. There was yeah, like when they talk to me about God, it legitimately feels like they're talking about some robots.
Dude, oh my god, do you know who Joe Schmidt is?
I've heard of him.
Majesty of Reason?
Oh, yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
Holy shit. Like, when he tries to make the arguments, like Thomistic arguments, valid, the conclusions just sound like they're talking about fucking AI.
Exactly. You've reduced...
No, God doesn't,
I think
God doesn't
ISO
have
caught
mental
on to
states. God doesn't have propositional knowledge. God doesn't have actuality in the same way that we do. God doesn't have a mind in the same way that we do. God has everything.
God doesn't deliberate. God,
exactly.
God just
he has no
shit.
Intentions. He just does shit. He's just like moving, bro. He's just moving at all times.
Right, like, bro, and I think this is an issue with Thomas because I think ISO was making like an argument for like trying to push them into like necessitarianism, but it feels like if you do this for God and you fine tune all your like language and metaphysics to the point that okay, you've now allowed for God to exist in this like robust way, but now it doesn't really feel like God is anything more than something that's had some. God is like this atom that acts.
God is nothing but just like a thing that just moves at all time.
I don't even know if he relates to this being. Like he's just like what?
Wait, so you're telling me in the Thomistic worldview that God is an electron? Is that what you're telling me?
God in the Thomistic view is just movement. You know, like when people say, "Oh, that thing moving," they're just saying God's just moving, bro. That's all God's doing.
It wouldn't even be an electron. It would be the electron.
Yeah,
take the single electron theory position. Yeah. That only one electron actually exists, and it's just in all positions at the same time.
Well, actually, to them, they think God is the existence of the electron.
Yeah,
it's just God has been reduced to and they have an art. So the reason why they won't say it falls into like a modal collapse is because they define modal collapse to be different. They'll say God is the reason possible worlds even exist, but I think it's used in a way that I don't use modal collapse, but it's. I just don't like when I really get down to it and understand the view and conceptualize what they're telling me. God is now this mechanism that I'm not too sure has a rhyme or reason why it does anything. It just sits out this program and it does.
Oh, well, if you want the most parsimonious Thomistic view, God is nothing but an unactualized actualizer. And if you don't want him to have potential states, God is a fully actual, unactualized actualizer. Or just a fully actual being that was not actualized. That's it. What does that mean, Bobby? What does that really mean?
I don't know what that means.
Exactly. Neither do they, because they always change the fucking definitions every debate.
I wouldn't even know as a Thomist. I wouldn't even know. Like to me, at least, if I was a Christian, I want God to be relatable. I want him to be this guy daddy that you can talk to. You know, you can understand. I could have this conversation with or something. I'm not too sure. Like now, it feels like I could reduce God to this mechanism that really has no rhyme or reason to why he does this. It could be just
because it's inherent to his nature.
Non-mind thing that just acts. Yeah, just
inherent to its nature. And oh my God, their metaphysics. Holy fuck, they have something for everything, Bobby.
Everything.
And it's always robust. Nothing is deflated. Nothing is deflated. Nothing is like parsimonious. It's just all extremely robust to be able to explain.
That's why I like talking to Thomas though, because it's like entering a world. They've created this giant world just for God. And it's so interesting.
See how wild the claims can get.
And like, dude, God, oh my God, every Thomist would always say this, right? This is something that they definitely don't change. God is existence persisting within itself. What does that mean? What the fuck does that mean for existence persists within itself?
They'll define each term. It's actually, you gotta give them credit. I have to give them credit.
Well, they've had 2,000 years to do it, Bobby.
But I just don't think if I was a Christian and I could relate to this God. I would rather prefer to be like some Baptist protesting where God is like some guy with a beard that makes decisions. At least I feel like I could have a conversation.
Well,
but here,
it's also just like so unattractive, exactly because of just the amount of stuff. It's just very unattractive.
Yeah, it's almost like you just have this just to defend the view, but now you could build God. It's like I could to me, this is no different from the atheist just making a move saying, "Hey, that this sin that has this necessary need to do this," without really needing to think about it. Because God doesn't think, he doesn't deliberate, he has no thoughts, he just acts. I don't know. But I think they're my favorite type of Christians to talk to on this app, honestly.
I think that even though I find it very unattractive, I think that if I had to be a Christian, I'd probably be some form of Thomist.
Yeah, maybe.
Just because of the philosophy, just because
denominational, but all of my epistemological views are Calvinist.
Just because, like, philosophically speaking, maybe it's the one with the most answers to things, but it's also philosophically speaking the most unattractive. So.
I just feel like you could grab everything that Thomas is and just make it more parsimonious. And once you make it more parsimonious, you remove. Well, maybe you still need the Trinity, because the way they want to do pure act will require the Trinity in some sense. So maybe it will still be God in that sense. But I mean, feel like even then, and like I said, just not that they've made God so mechanistic. I feel like you could just there would be no logical contradiction in this being that just does something. But they want to say that to be pure act, you need to be God. You need to be some triune God. That's the only way to do it. But I'm not too sure what. They will give it P and not P. Why it couldn't be like something else?
See no reason as to why God needs to be pure act. Why can't he just be an unactualized actualizer? I don't see why that. I don't see what inferences. I don't think I've ever seen an argument for that. I think maybe once I've seen an argument, maybe like a really old phaser argument that he probably doesn't use anymore, but it's just so much.
These days, what do you say to the deathless argument? The whole double negation. What's your response to that?
It's so stupid. I could just say, okay, well, not atheism. It's the same shit, and then when he says, "Oh no, there's a triple negation entailed by atheism."
I tried the triple negation. Apparently, he doesn't accept the triple negation.
There isn't a triple negation entailed by atheism. There isn't a double negation entailed by atheism. There isn't a double negation entailed by theism. He's just speaking gibberish.
I love when somebody I think it was one of the Deathless Prayers like, does the non-existence of a non-existent balls exist?
Dawkins has been debating fucking Monkey Boy's, I think, like 19. Dawkins been debating him since he was 17 on Clubhouse, Bobby. You know how horrible it looks for you if you've been losing to the same guy since he was 17?
Bro, it's hard to talk to Dawkins, man. It's just I've given him. I've actually tried to like. Well, I tried to help him. Oh, I tried to help him on like see why it doesn't have to be the other way, but like,
he just doesn't. I don't. It's like those, like when your grandparents come around or something, or like an uncle or something. He's talking to you, and you're like, I'm not gonna tell this guy that there isn't a government cabal and that like the president is not a lizard. I'm just gonna be like, oh really? Dang, that's pretty interesting, right? Like that's Dawkins. That's just the guy that you don't want to like refute. You just want to act like you give a fuck.
Yeah, wait. I remember. Actually, wait. Now that you're here, so I remember we were talking with Mitch, right? That one time, and Mitch, he said that he would concede that it is more probable, like say, a god that desires agents, like conscious agents. This is more probable under a god under. A conscious agent is more probable under a god that desires conscious agents than like some naturalistic explanation for conscious agents. All right. And Mitch was like, all right, I'll concede this point because it's like a one-for-one correlation. Like it's a direct correlation, right?
Yeah.
But this is not evidence for a god that desires conscious agents.
Well, that's because I can say that like, because there's a difference between how likely the hypothesis is, right? Versus like how likely the evidence is given the hypothesis, right? So I believe the distinction would be P given A over B versus P given B over A. I can have like, I won the lottery or something, and the explanation for that, what Bex explains it is, Jeff the Land Shark from Marvel Rivals, came into existence, and he had this disposition that, in all possible worlds, he wanted me to win the lottery. Now I have a hypothesis that explains the data 100% of the time, but, nobody would say that that's then evidence for Jeff the Land Shark coming into existence, right? Like, that's not evidence for Jeff the Land Shark.
No matter how fun that would be.
Exactly. So, like, I could have some view, right? And I can concede, yeah, sure, that explains the data. But what explains that, right?
Yeah.
Why not why not the same hypothesis, but one less entity in it, right? Like deism. There's an argument for atheism that's like showing deism is more probable than theism. And then given deism, you might as well just be an atheist.
Well, I get that, but this is the desires this universe specifically, that this is more probable than some naturalistic explanation for this universe, right? Like if you say this, Like you concede that that a God that designed this universe, that probability is more than some naturalistic explanation. You wouldn't to not say that this is not evidence for a God that desires this universe. I think it's
Well,
the way it sounds that bothers me. You know what I mean?
well, I believe that what's being said there would, yeah, and I think it would be because, you like most of us have this,
Because
intuition that like if a hypothesis explains the data, then the data is evidence for the hypothesis. But I'm
you
pretty
say
sure that's not how. I haven't read
The data would be equal evidence for all of them, but so insignificant that it wouldn't lead you to any one position.
Yeah, I believe, like, I'm not sure if this is exactly what the distinction is. I've only, like, heard it. I haven't read anything on Bayesianism, but that's the distinction between P given A over B versus P given B over A. I think where A signifies the data, B signifies the hypothesis, or A over B the hypothesis, or sorry, vice versa. A signifies the hypothesis, B signifies the data. Right? How likely, or what's the probability of the hypothesis given the data versus what's the probability of the data given the hypothesis? I'm not exactly sure if that's how it works. So don't take my word.
I think that's what I think Mitch said. I think that's the equation that he wrote on the chat. But it is interesting. I could see how the Christian's intuition makes sense because at first I think like generally what the atheist wants to do is to say like, yeah, no, it's just equal, right? But why this whole conversation? I had this conversation because Mitch had conceded, and I was like, it's so weird to like concede the fact that yeah, this will be more probable under the God hypothesis, but it's not evidence for God. Like I get what you're saying there. I get what you're saying
but
there,
you can
but
concede it because like it's sort of arbitrary if there isn't like if you don't give me a reason as to why I should accept.
no,
I could say yeah, it explains it better than any other hypothesis, sure. But why should I accept it just based off of that?
yeah.
Yeah, typically you require further
Will be just a piece
information
of
or priors.
Yeah, I guess it was just a piece of evidence, but it's also weird to say, I'll concede to you that like if you talk to a Christian, like I think the God hypothesis explaining the universe were better than naturalism, and you concede that yeah, I think the God hypothesis does explain the universe better than naturalism, and but you say like, well, this is still not evidence for God that created the universe, and it's like,
Well, I mean,
no, I see, but linguistically, you're still on the right, but it just sounds
yeah,
wrong.
like intuitively, you want to say, well, given that it explains it, that's evidence for the hypothesis, or it makes it more likely. But yeah, intuitively, yeah, 100%, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's where the whole.
That's why people like Detroyer, like Friction, like with his debate that he had not too long ago with who was it? Was it Matthew Adelstein? I think it was Adelstein. I don't know. Like he brings that up, right? Like, especially with his like what explains the, this data instead of a different set of data, right? Like why would God want this universe instead of a different universe? And like you might get into like some Oppian things there, but that's beside this point. Yeah, like intuitively, it's definitely weird to say that doesn't then make it more likely.
Yeah. What I think honestly that at the end of the day, I think the way the Thomists talk about God has to be the best God. I don't think God should be able to choose. Like if God is able to choose, then I'm not too sure how he's able to act.
Well, it's just like I don't know. I just find Thomism so very unattractive because of like the amount of like heavy jargon, two, the amount of metaphysical commitments. There's just so much stuff there that I think you sort of lose out on a bit of parsimony comparative to other views. Like their account of change is an account that nobody really holds to but them, right? Like I'm pretty sure that the current view of change, or like the most common view now, is just like
Damn, God got him.
No, really? What was the last thing you heard? Okay, I was saying, like, nobody uses their account of change, right? Like, change, I believe, is usually used, entity X changes if and only if it gains property F, or and didn't have property F and gains property F, or does have property F and loses property F.
That would be the definition of change.
I believe that's how it's most commonly used. I'm not 100% sure about it. I think that's how it's more commonly used.
It depends on like which type of definition you're using, whether it's like philosophical definition or if you're talking like physics definition of change or something along those lines. They're each gonna like be subtly different.
I think this is the philosophical view. I'm not sure if this is
It sounds like the philosophical view of change.
But like none of that there then commits me to something like ontic pluralism, right? Where they want to say, well, there's different modes of being, right? So change is, and so I don't like the reduction word because I think that the reduction word conceptually reduces into like just change, what people usually mean by change. So like change to them is potency becoming actuality, right? But then potency doesn't exist in the same way that like, or there's one, you have an infinite amount of things there, right? With potency, that's, it's possible to have an infinite amount of potential states. That isn't very parsimonious. Now you have an infinite amount of things within your ontology for every entity. It commits you to some like ontic pluralism thing where like, something exists, like potential doesn't exist the same way as actuality, right? So now you have different modes of being, right? Which some people deny. So I don't know. I think there's just so many issues with basic.
You have to go through the whole like actual and potential distinction and see how like that pertains to like different modes of being. You can't be purely. You can be fully potential. Like, you need to have like. I'm not too sure how God has no potential, or is it potency? I don't know how they go about that. But I want to try something. Like I want to shift the conversation different. Like Cosmic, what do you think about the idea that you need time to have experience?
Well, it depends on what experience even is, because if I'm not sure what experience means there.
And like I'm assuming like we say experience, I can't give a solid definition of experience, right? But when we say experience, you're trying to say something like
Something has experience if and only if like it has mental
some kind of
states or
well,
like
I could probably say experience requires some sort of input, and that input denotes change occurring. Change requires time.
So that's the bit that is confusing. Like if you say like okay, experience is some kind of content, and that content requires time, right? When do we is it possible to have like let's say like we have like some like a lot like some eternal like B theory kind of like linear time model, right? Time A, time B. You want to say that? Would you say that to have experience, you need both A and B to have experience?
No, you just need a change from P1 to P2, well, not P1, yeah, T1 to T2 or something along those lines.
So experience for you is to fully have experience. You need to go from T1 to T2 to have like experience, right?
At a minimum, you must have some sort of progression of time.
So how I forgot how Dingo ran this or how he said asked this question, but how would you like at T1 there is no experience?
The experience would be the progression from one state to another.
Okay.
At the moment, there's no transition from one state to another, so it's not experience.
Yeah, I forgot how like Dingo.
Experience would be a state of change.
Experience. I forgot how Dingo ran because I think what Dingo was wanted to say here was like I think we understand that we need the change T1 T2 to have experience, but the issue is at what point is experience being understood to be like experience? I think like is it at P1 or is it being is it being realized at P2 like T2 or T1? I forgot how Dingo ran it. It's like he was trying to say something like at what point is it understood to be experience? Is it understood at T1 or is it understood at T2? And then because it seems to be the case that you don't want to say at T1 you're understanding you have an understanding of experience, and at T2 you don't have an understanding experience. So you need both to be there to have understanding experience. So he wants to say he wants to make an argument that you don't need time to have experience, or you don't need time to have like you don't need time to have like I mean not experience, but what's the word like consciousness or something like that.
Like awareness?
Maybe awareness or consciousness or something.
Mental states?
Maybe. The way I would like push back on that is I would hold experience to being a verb, an action. It's not simply a state. Like you can have a mental state that would be something that's like independent of the action, but the experience itself would be a verb. It'd be like me asking if you're going from T1 to T2 and the thing we're discussing is running. Are you running at T1 and not at T2? To run requires some sort of time happening because it's an action being taken.
Do you think to be conscious you need time?
Yeah, time being awareness is an action, not just a state. To be aware of self and surroundings indicates processing occurring, and that would indicate action over time.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what Dingo was trying to like push back on. So Dingo wants to say something about it too. He doesn't know if you, because if you have T, if when do you won't say that you're conscious at T1. Then you said that for you to be conscious, you need T1 and T2, right? For you to be
you would be conscious at T1 and you would be conscious at T2, but it's the existence of T1 in relation to T2 that allows for consciousness to exist in both. Same thing with running, same thing with walking, same thing with eating, same thing with anything that it requires like an action be taken.
Wait, Mr. Shapes should join the panel. He's saying Matthew is praying to be right. You should join the panel, Mr. Shapes. Prove us wrong.
I'm just praying I sound correct. I'm just giving an intuitive argument for how I see these positions to be. If it's found to be different in literature, or if I'm given a different argument against it, okay.
Yeah, I think if Justin W or Dingo here, they'll probably like say the issue better than I can. I did at some point agree with them because it felt like there was something going on where, because at first I was like, yeah, it makes sense. To be conscious or experience, you need this like data. You need like T1, T2, 3, like 3 all the way.
Some sort of processing to occur.
Yeah, but then
action to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, but then they're like, well, you have this, like, I think Justin said you had this bootstrapping issue where you're not sure at what point that the action is occurring. You know,
I think it's happening at all the points. It's just going to be reliant on the relationship between the 2 points. But that's just, again, that's my intuitive way of looking at it. I'm sure Dingo could put it in a different way.
Yeah,
he's a really smart guy, so maybe it would convince me. But
I think I'm just saying it wrong. Because I think we're going to argue against Machine Elf, because he brought up the view. Because it's basically an argument that if God is defined as some conscious being or some of the time, then you need to be conscious and all this, or have a mind or something like that.
Sure.
Or even have awareness, you need like some sense of time.
But this is one of the arguments that points towards like the Abrahamic God requiring to be in time for like creation and a few other things, just in order to hold to its like defining characteristics, like the idea of creation. Creation itself is a progression from one state to another, a state where the created thing does not exist to a state where the created thing does exist. So creation is a position of change, which would be time. So to create time is an incoherent concept because you would require time in order to create time.
I think it's being targeted from just God. If God is aware, and you need time to be aware.
Same kind of argument, just different topic of the discussion.
Yeah, I have a question. Let me ask something. Is time supposed to be in your Matthew's conception of things? Is it supposed to be like an ontological, like brute fact, or is it something else?
It's just a measurement of change.
But is it like an ontologically...
The descriptive factor of world. It's not ontic or prescriptive. It's just a descriptive thing.
So it's more epistemological.
Well, that would be pertaining to some metaphysical thing. No. Like when I say descriptive, I'm just saying that you're just reporting about something in the world, right? Like something descriptive would be like I say Matthew is running, right? There's nothing ontological there, right? Like running doesn't exist in some form. It's just a descriptive thing. I'm just saying what is happening, or just reporting on what is happening.
We're saying we're kind of saying that time is indispensable to conceiving of every scenario in which Matthew is running. So what I'm asking is in your worldview, is time therefore some sort of ontological basic structure, or is it just like an epistemic thing, kind of like a category of mind?
I don't know what you mean.
I won't even go that far. It's just a like a convenient tool It's no different than like a minute's no different than an inch, right? It's just a measurement of whatever property you're discussing.
So it's just a tool that just is pragmatically coherent onto itself, and you're just kind of using it without deciding on, what category time would occupy within the scheme of things, or
It just occupies the category of a property state, right?
a property of it's a property of a property?
A property of change.
Right, and is that then something intrinsic to the world, which is what I'm kind of hinting at when I talk about ontology, or is it is it more like a trait of how we're seeing things in your worldview, anyway?
Okay, so what we're seeing is we're seeing the change over time, right? We're seeing the change in whatever we're doing. We measure that change as time. So it's not its like own thing, so it wouldn't have its own ontology in that way. At least
But it's
the way I would see it. Yeah, so is width.
So is what?
Width. You can't avoid spatial dimension, right? It's a property of the world that we live in.
Okay, so it's a physical property rather than something underlying very category physical stuffs.
Yeah, so whereas width is a measurement of spatial, time is a measurement of temporal, which is just change.
Okay. Well, for me, that kind of borders on like naive, like metaphysics or something. Whereas I thought you guys were discussing metaphysics.
Oh, I just hold it to be an emergent property.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I wanted to ask, really. But as far as like having experience within time or something, whatever Bobby was asking, like is there such a thing as experience within a frozen world? Do you think? Freeze time. Do we run the risk of like some contradiction of terms if we have them?
It depends on what it means to experience things.
I don't think any experience would be held if no change was occurring.
Yeah, it depends on like the semantics and whatnot on what experience is and what it means to experience. Like, if like a rock, in space that isn't moving, if experience is defined in such a way where, so long as the atoms within the rock are moving, then it's experiencing something. Then no time, would need to be.
Let's change the word from experience to awareness. All right. Change it from her.
Well, then what does it mean to be aware?
It is an experience.
Yeah,
right?
What does it mean? What does it mean for something to be aware? Right? Like, aware. If we're taking it like let's just say that I have the concept. Right? I think I know what you probably mean by aware. I don't really know what it means to be aware if you're not able to think, right? Because if you're frozen in time, then you can't think, and there's no sense in where you have any conscious thoughts.
So you're saying that at T1, if we're just like T1, you can't be aware. You need T1 and T2 then to be aware.
Well, I mean, I wasn't really listening, so all I heard was that Dingo was trying to say something. I mean, there could be a sense in which if you're aware at T1 and time is frozen at T1, then you're sort of aware, without time, without things moving or changing, right? So maybe I'm not very sure. It's still
that was just
to be aware.
I think that was just something like Dingo trying to push back. Like if maybe the idea of like if you're saying that you need this time set to be aware, then I guess him and Justin are trying to push back where, well, okay, at what point is aware? It's kind of like when people say like the heart, like you say points to the brain where where redness is located, something like that. But they say, well, points in this timeline where awareness is happening, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know.
critique.
I think it just really depends on what it means to be aware in that scenario.
I think there's a lot of people who use that kind of phrasing a little like dishonestly sometimes too, when they're like, "Show me what neuron consciousness exists in." It's just not like coherent with the view that they're arguing against. So I don't think it's
I think they try to do it in a way that like maybe some vegan would use like an NTT argument, like name the trait, like, okay, is it this trait? Is it the other trait? If, how many of these traits do we have to add on before this thing has, some moral, to where it would be wrong to eat this cow or something, or like how many of these traits,
Yeah,
or what trait, I think maybe they're trying to do it in that way, but I don't think that like, the physicalists have some, epistemic access as to how many physical entities need to be present for consciousness to come about. And I don't think they need to do that so long as, there's maybe some conceptual threshold or something. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Actually, what did you guys think about the Mike Burgundy consciousness debate?
I actually talked to Jordan later on about why he gave, because it was basically a tie. He was the last guy to like break the tiebreaker, because it was like 5 judges and he was the last person to like give the tiebreaker. I talked to him why, because he like I said, he critiqued Mike and then he critiqued Alex, right? And then all of a sudden he gave Alex did his sweep. It was pretty close. Like it was 2-2, and then Jordan was the tiebreaker. So it was a pretty close debate actually. But I think the reason Jordan, after talking to Jordan, the reason he gave it to Alex was Mike had a huge burden. This was actually a pretty hard fight for Mike. Where what was the proposition at the time? Can you remind?
Can materialism explain consciousness?
Yeah, that I wouldn't.
It's really not. It's really not a difficult position to argue for a materialist. If as long as you just run through it with a scientific backing instead of trying to purely run with like a philosophical backing, because you have support through neuroscience in the what's called the easy problem of consciousness, like where within the system of the brain that these things would occur. That's upheld through neuroscience. You can do that, and that gives you the possibility of consciousness arising with just the physical. That's all that's required to say, can materialism support consciousness?
Well, that's a weird one. Like, I don't think there's any logical issue if that's what they mean. Unless they mean like maybe some metaphysical issue, but logically,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
there's an
the issue might be like something metaphysical. I don't think they would like we're talking on the domain of just logical. Like Alex pushed back is because I think Mike holds something like identity theory. So he wants to say that there's functions of the brain that brings about consciousness on this sense. And I forgot the exact arguments that Alex used, but I mean, it was kind of the basic kind of idealist kind of, I think, talking points as far as like, hey, there's no way to actually. Okay, there was this. The first point was this epistemic gap in where you have this gap where we can actually say that we have to understand how consciousness works, and I think he made like some argument about how are you not me? How do you not understand who I am? Oh, I just forgot what the arguments that he made at the time, but I think Alex was convincing enough in the sense where it seems you can quantify consciousness essentially, and I think that's how he won that debate is on that like you could it has like it's in the brain and your brain is functioning in a way that explains consciousness. Like so, Alex actually had in my way, like in my honest position, Alex had the easier. It was an easier fight for Alex, I think.
To me, it just sounded like it was purely a possibility claim, and if it's purely a possibility claim, the physicalist or the materialist has no issues with that at all. The materialist has no issues with that at all. Thing for a physicalist to be able to do.
Yeah, I think like maybe one thing I could have done to make it better is like give them both burdens to bear. So maybe it should have been like, can materialism or idealism explain consciousness? And then like Alex has to.
I think when it comes to debates, it should only be, the singular proposition. No, it shouldn't be like a disjunctor and a conjunct. It shouldn't be like a disjunctor and a conjunctivity. I think only one person should have the burden, not
I actually want to invite Jordan because Jordan will be able to like.
Jordan, he was on my panel like a couple, maybe like an hour ago or so.
Hey, Jordan. Jordan, I just want to make sure, because I don't want to straw man what you said. I was talking to Matthew, and maybe kind of curious what Matthew's response to this was, and it's going back to the Alex and Mike debate. But you being the tiebreaker, right? You have said, all right, Alex just Alex just had the bigger burden. And he didn't Alex just didn't do a proper job.
No, well, you mean Mike?
Oh, yeah, Mike had a big
burden
because Mike was doing the materialist position.
Yeah. And Mike didn't do a proper job, and because it seems like Mike took a position where Alex was like attacking him that there's no reason to believe like consciousness is actually located in the brain and it's quantifiable or understand like that and I can't fully like regurgitate the view because it's like a day old and my brain is just not there.
Sure. That's fair.
But I'm kind of curious, Matthew. Like Matthew, what would your response be to that again? Because I want to know if Jordan, if you think that would have helped.
The way I heard it phrased was, can materialism explain consciousness? This being just the possibility claim of can it do so, I think is not nearly as hard of a burden as some people are making it out to be, because you're only required to show possibility, not that it's like more parsimonious or that it's a better position than some metaphysical position. And you can simply rely on neuroscience to discuss the ability of the physical system of the brain to have all requirements that would be necessary for like the emergence of a conscious system, right? And all you need is like a way to take in sensory data, a way to store data, a way to recall data, and a way to process data. Those are the only requirements. And that ends up being what's called the easy problem of consciousness, not the hard problem of consciousness. The how the system would do so, not the why or anything else. And neuroscience is pretty firm on that already. So we have all the requirements already supported. That is going to support the can it occur. Now, should you accept that's the case? That's a completely different argument.
Yeah, I think that's a much better place to press, right? So what you're basically doing there is saying what counts as explanation here is a functional explanation. But so that's one place I would have gone if I had been Mike. The other one would be to just show that the hard problem is either a pseudo problem or is not as hard as it looks. The other way, the final way would be to argue for illusionism.
Sure, that could work as well.
What did Mike? I can't recall, but what was Mike doing again? Like, what was his argument for his defense?
Well, he just laid out a kind of loose identity theory. Said there's an intrinsic epistemic gap. Said that's different from the ontological gap. Didn't give it a lot of explanation as to why. And then just tried to give, basically just tried to give Alex the incredulous stare is the other portion.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Maybe that's unfair, but I'm trying to be fair. It's not a failure. It's not a failure for trying. It's maybe I'm just too dumb or something, and maybe there was something in there that I just couldn't see. But
no, it's not near as much as that all. I think he tried to hold to a bit more of just an appeal to scientific consensus in some ways, and that's just not going to be a accurate way to do it. Not for this topic.
Yeah. Well, that's sometimes that's what he sometimes sounded like he was saying, like, look, like he was trying to address the easy problem.
Yeah.
But he didn't specify that. It just seems like, frankly, that he just didn't read that much. Like he didn't get a good a good sense of the lay of the land, To me. Oh, now you're starting to sound like me, Cosmic.
I think that it would either be reversed, where the ontic things would map onto the semantical things, or just not at all, right? They don't map onto each other at all. I don't know. I feel like that question is slightly misput.
Yeah. That's kind of close to what I would say, which is that, like, look, that what you have to understand what logic is, and that I think that what you do is you give something like a kind of an embodied account of logic, right? So that what logic does is that it shapes your behavior in a certain way. And because it shapes your behavior in a certain way, and by behavior, I don't just mean like what you do with like your arms and legs, right? But like including the kind of inferences that you make. That the different kind of domain or discourses are going to be amenable to they're going to embody a certain structure, and that different logics are going to approximate that structure, right? So that's why something like paraconsistent logic is something for like legal discourse, right? Because in legal discourse, you really, you can have contradicting laws, for example, right? But other domains are going to be better. That their structure is going to be better described through something like classical, or into more like something that looks more like intuitionistic logic, or so on and so forth.
But I guess in their worldview, especially when you just like, I understand that, like, and I did get what we mean. Like, it feels like these things are just like semantics that we use, and we have no reason why we should import it into reality. It just indicates that reality is the way it is. There's no reason.
Well, I mean, I think you can even actually say something about reality, though, that like there is a reason why some logics work better than others in different contexts, and that's because the structure of reality, that the way that we learn, part of how we adopted certain the logics that we did is because when you adopt certain patterns of inference, some of those patterns of inference are going to allow you to make better predictions, allow you to better organize your experience, are going to process is going to self-destruct, right? Most likely over time. Like the structures of some processes are just intrinsically unstable over some amount of time, right? Just to kind of give an example that, like, you can talk about dynamic, give simple cases of how a process relates to itself and how it relates to its environment, such that some of these processes are that there's going to be certain demands on these processes, right? Something like a kind of broad side. There's almost like a logic of stability, right? that I think that you're going to be able to partly what like complex systems studies, right?
Yeah, I do think like I know like I know Flancer has like a view on why it reality acts one way over the other, and I think again, just the way the theist wants to say about like, well, what accounts for this reality versus some other reality. Something that I've never like to me, I just hold like I just don't see the reason why it couldn't be any why it should like Matthew said, it just seems to be consistent. I don't see why I have to hold some other reason, but I do sometimes like wonder if reality. It doesn't seem like you said we use like super consistent logic for like some legal reasons, but I can't imagine like a reality that operates in such a way. If that's
yeah, I mean, go read Graham Priest and
Yeah, I feel like that's where the question that they really like why is my hand a hand and not a hand at the same time? Why does not that? Why does that not occur?
Yeah.
Well, here's my thing is I don't know how God, unless you're very specific, and which they never are, right? They don't give a detailed enough account of God to tell me why a world turns out one way versus the other, right? Like what specifically is better about me having hands rather than like lobster claws?
Not just that. You can even go deeper and attack the hypothesis itself. Not just what the view is explaining, but the view, like the thing itself, right? Like what explains God being all loving versus just really, really nice, right?
Actually,
what explains him being, all knowing instead of like knowing most propositions?
Actually, like I had that thought. I had that thought in a debate on a panel that I was in. Like Christians will be like atheists, given like science and like a bunch of stuff, like why is our universe the way that it is? You can't explain stuff. But at the same time, like, yeah, like Jordan, like you were saying, like Christians don't give like the most detailed response on like how God's like putting everything together or like why he has certain desires over like other desires. They kind of just say like God did it, his understanding is beyond ours, and then that's all the work that they put in. And then it's like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that the thing where you put perspective is okay, great, but the problem is if I don't have any conception of what this, because this is like, I don't know if this is the same thing or just kind of like a family relation kind of thing here, but is it's the kind of like greater goods argument, right? And it's like, okay, so there's some greater reason that's beyond me, but how does that help me from someone who doesn't already believe? Because my problem is going to be, okay, I can't distinguish a world because I don't have any conception of what this greater good might be. I don't have any way of telling what sort of world I should expect and what kind of elements of that world I should expect and how I should you're not giving me any kind of traction at all.
Yeah, they're sort of just like bringing about some issue that both views have, but I think the point is just to show that, hey, atheism, that you have this issue, right? But they're not aware that they also have the exact same
issue.
thing.
Yeah, because they just want to say God is doing what that.
Yeah, and some of them want to say even that like they bring up like the impossibility of the contrary thing, but you can be an atheist and like you brought up, Bobby, like Flenser's view, where like reality is structured in such a way because of these invariant things.
I think, and I don't know, like sometimes I feel like I don't want to say like I might borrow it just to like just to say something at times, but I don't actually really fully see why she even hold to like this invariance to like why reality should be like structured in such a way. You know, it just, I don't know if I believe, I believe it just seems to be the case that like reality is structured in this way. I'm not too sure why I should give like this, I'll give an argument for this like axiom or something. I don't know. It's just self evident. I don't think why.
I just think it's just a basic cause, like argument from causation, right? Without cause, we wouldn't expect an effect. A change in properties would be an effect. So we would expect for a change in properties to require some cause. Therefore, we would expect without cause, we would see consistency.
Yeah, possibly. I guess that's just gonna be. I mean, yeah, but I guess this is gonna be one of those things where, like, if I do try to like be like a little charitable and I try like maybe see things from their perspective as to what explains this versus that. But at the end of the day, we're just kicking the rock back. We just kick God. One thing that also does bother me about God is the fact that what explains. It seems like a lot of stuff that God's grounding seems to like come prior to God, like his nature, all his properties, and all this seem to be these things that come before God himself.
Yeah,
like
they seem to be externally descriptive of God.
It's just, it seems like there's this properties and then God. And I don't know. That's how I feel like, because I don't see how God could ground logic. It seems like, or the properties that he acts on. Like, it seems like these things there that he points to has to come before him. And that's just what it seems like to me, at least.
Well, one thing you could maybe do if you're a theist is you could say, not that, I don't know how to phrase this exactly, but something like, I know this isn't going to be technically right, but hopefully you'll get the idea, is that while God can't constrain the isn't the ground of the metalogical space, the logic under which the world is built is chosen by him. So he doesn't get to choose by which, or what all the logic's possible, but he can choose, like he could choose classical logic, right? And that's the logic he builds the world under, right? Or I don't know.
He could choose it. That sounds weird, because like what happens prior to choice, I guess.
I don't know. That's sort of weird. Like, in what state does God exist in, right? Does he exist in like the classical logic space and also not in the classical logic space? Like, he's in part. Well,
does he have a set of logic he has to follow?
Like, does he have his own meta logic that like constrains him? Like, I don't know. It's
maybe
this is so weird.
It is weird. Yeah, maybe he exists at a intersection of boundaries or something. I don't know. To me, it's fun to like as even if I broadly disagree with some position, like trying to see if I can help him out.
Exactly.
Is fun. I don't know how to make that work, but I'll have to think about it.
It's the devil's advocate concept. Could I do a better job of arguing it than they do?
Yeah.
What do you think?
For me, it's not even better. I just think to me, it's like a fun puzzle. Like,
right?
It's like, how would I do it?
Yeah, that's how I feel sometimes.
Is it even possible for this system to make sense?
Yeah.
Like one thing that I found interesting is if God exists. One thing that was kind of a weird epiphany was sometimes I used to hate the argument that God's foreknowledge means that you don't have free will, but then ironically, the more you think about it, that actually is a good argument.
It's
well,
it's possible to avoid, but it's hard.
Let me explain. Let me actually explain. So there's two choices here.
Yeah.
And it depends on how the Christian wants to go about. You could say that if it is the case that God has access to every possible world where, Jordan does A and Jordan does B, but instantiates one world versus the other, then you're in the world. Then God chose a world where you only do this, But it's possible you could do some other world, but you could only, but you did God instantiated a world where you did this. Maybe you could make an argument that maybe God chose the world where Jordan is truly Jordan, and Jordan couldn't be Jordan in any other world, or maybe there could be like some identity thing that's going on there.
Wait, actually, wait, before you answer that, actually, like, for some reason, like, I can't really grasp, like, why Christians don't understand this, but, like, they describe God and all his abilities, right? And I don't see how it's not deterministic. Like, okay, so, I mean, okay, I don't want to glaze, but, like, I became a hard determinist due to, like, what I heard from Matthew, and I thought it was pretty awesome. Like everything that we do is determined by like our biological composition, and like there's always going to be some causal principle that's going to be the reason why we make decisions or act a certain way. Now, if God sees the future and he knows exactly what's going to happen, and he builds every cell in your body, and you're basically just a train on a train track, like, why would you have free will? Like, how is that, like, not going to completely, like, lead to, like, yes, hard determinism? But I do understand, like, there are Christian compatibilists, but literally everything you do is just, like, because, your taste buds like chocolate ice cream rather than vanilla ice cream. Your brain has, like, certain preferences to women or whatever.
I could argue hard determinism of Christianity, because it seems to be the case if I could get a Christian to agree that, well, God doesn't like deliberate between possible worlds. I'm not even too sure if it makes sense to say that God has knowledge of possible worlds. Honestly, I'm not even too sure that line of language makes sense, because to me that it feels like that is something that God has to think about or like go through. So if like possible worlds don't exist for God, and God just like always does the right thing, it doesn't seem to be the case that you could ever if when God like instantiates a universe, it doesn't seem to be the case that Adam and Eve could not have chosen to not have eat of the Adam and Eve can only eat of the apple. There wasn't like a possible world where they could have done otherwise.
Yeah,
so I think that's a strong good case for hard determinism.
Some of them might say, well, like, the ability. What is it? Is it the PAP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Principles of alternative possibilities.
Yeah. Some of them would just say, well, it's possible to have free will, and yet not commit to the PAP. Right? The PAP could be false, and you could still have free will.
Right.
What's PAP mean here?
Principles of alternative possibilities.
Yeah. Like, have you ever heard of like? Is it Frankfurt cases? Jordan,
Frankfurt cases.
Yeah, there's like instances in which somebody can't or couldn't have done otherwise that you would say that they chose freely.
But how does this pertain to this particular point where God chooses? There's no possible worlds where he could have done otherwise.
Well, then, yeah, because there's no possible world there, yet there's a sense in which somebody did something freely.
Yeah, so
there's no possible alternate possibilities. There's only one outcome, but it's still considered free will.
Yeah, you're right. Then it's going to be one of those cases where I think this is going to be like some Calvinistic kind of take where, I mean, not fully Calvinistic, but it could be a case where maybe somehow your will and God's will both align perfectly. So I guess you could still call that compatibilism if somehow your will and God's will align. But I don't know. Because if it is the case that God instantiates this world where it was impossible for you to do otherwise, or rather, possible worlds just don't exist, so you could have only done this, but you done this of your own will.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the idea is like, look, broadly speaking, is that when we're talking about causes, right? And and not just talking about human beings, but like just stuff in the world, right? So like if a boulder comes down and smashes somebody's car, right? We go, well, and you go, well, how did the car get smashed? You go, well, there was this boulder that rolled down and it hit this person's car, right? Well, in some ways, yeah, that is the cause, but in another sense, there's actually this whole causal web, that you would have to appeal to, the creation of the earth, and you'd have to talk about plate tectonics, and you'd have to talk about, right? But we think typically it's good enough to point at something pretty proximate and say that's a cause, right? And so that in the same way, when you talk about a person, that all you need to do is appeal to the proximate cause, where the proximate cause is something to do with who that person is. That it's a function of who that person is. Like, is it a function of their character? Is it a function of their, first, second, second, third, fourth order desires? Is it, is it kind of some combination of things? There's kind of a bunch of different views you could take. And there are a bunch of different views.
I know that, like, Jordan, I know that you're like an indeterminist somehow. About I don't know if you in terms about like free will or like reality, or maybe just reality altogether.
I'm in general an indeterminist.
So, what is the? Just run by me the reason again. How do work?
There's a few different reasons. Broadly speaking, it's not so much that I think that like determinism is like impossible or something, but I think given our epistemic position, that our epistemic and practical position, that we've got better reason to be indeterminists than determinists, right? That the burden on determinism is just much higher, right? Because one, we don't. There's the way that you have to the demands for resolving the problem of induction, I think, generate much higher demands for determinism than indeterminism, right? Because because all you have to do is justify some notion of regularity, right, on indeterminism, where you have to justify something like absolute regularity on determinism, right? You have to that insofar as your inductive inferences depend on some notion of regularity, I would say absolute regularity is a bigger ask than mere regularity.
I don't know why anybody would push for an absolute on anything.
Well, so traditionally, like if you go to causal determinism on the SEP, right? The definition of causal determinism is that given, because we're just talking about determinism, indeterminism.
Given an identical set of prior antecedents, the effect follows necessarily from the cause.
Right. And that would require an absolute regularity, right? It would require that B necessarily follows A.
Yeah, that's just what we're going to state as occurring. I mean, to say that this is absolutely the case at all times is not something we require for anything, for any position.
So just to be clear, what you're having to justify is necessary metaphysical relations, right?
Because the absolute
I don't see
isn't
any problems with that.
like the absolute. You're just by absolute. I'm assuming it's just meant that it's necessary, that in all possible worlds or all the time it occurs.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what would be stated by the determinist. Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with that is, one, you have to think that there is such a thing as, necessary relations, right? And what would the empirical evidence ever be for that?
Yeah, that's an issue that I have with causal determinism. At least that I don't see a reason as to why I should accept that B necessarily follows from A given the exact same antecedents.
Right.
I think that it's I think to me conceptually I can conceptualize an instance in which B doesn't follow from the same antecedents. I don't see any logical issue.
The exact same antecedents?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see any logical issue.
If anything is causal at all, then you would expect the same outcome. We hold that with everything. Most logic would hold that.
Unless
you have something causing a difference in the system would remain the same.
Logical.
That's a narrow notion of causality, though, and that's
logical.
That's a narrow. At one time, that was the received view of causality. That's no longer the case, right?
Yeah, I would just challenge what would cause a different output.
Yeah, but you're just demanding, given your notion of causality, which I don't accept, right?
Yeah,
I'm not asking you to accept. I'm not accepting you to accept. I'm not asking you to accept my notion of causality. I'm saying, if you're going to state that given the exact same prior antecedents, a different outcome can occur, give me an example. Tell me how that's even possible.
I mean, to me, I think I can conceptualize an instance in which we have the same, the same antecedents,
and you do something different.
Something different can occur. Because I don't see like how you derive this necessity part, right? I think I can conceptualize it. I don't see any logical.
What I understand Matthew to be saying is, if I rewind this clock 13.8 billion years back, like just rewind the TV or whatever, and then press play. We'll fast forward, and we're gonna be having this conversation right now, and nothing changes. I actually didn't. Maybe there's no logical. I don't know that. I'm not sure that I agree. I don't think I agree. There's no logical. I think it's a
contradiction here.
Say this.
By
Bobby,
necessary, I'm just stating that it could not have been different than what it is. Right?
That's just you insisting on your.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. I don't. You'd have to tell me how it could be different. There's nothing that would cause it to be different.
Why is the burden on me, though?
But the cause thing there, yeah, because when
you're saying you're an indeterminist.
Yeah, but why is determinism the default?
I'm not saying it's the default position. I'm saying that's what all the data points towards output A. No data is pointing towards output B. How is output B possible?
Okay, but as a matter of fact, the way that experiments in fact work, right, is they don't give exactly the same output. Now, you can say,
well, they don't have the exact same prior antecedents either.
But the problem is then there's in principle no way to confirm determinism empirically, right? Because
I'm not asking
exactly to confirm
information. That's never been what I'm asking for. I'm asking what would allow for a different output if everything leading up to the output was identical.
But what I'm saying is that there's always some indeterministic theory that would predict exactly the same output, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, what would cause it to be indeterministic?
An indeterministic
what would cause the difference in the output? That's the same question I'm asking every single time.
Indeterministic. Let me ask you this. So now I know that by no means is this settled, right? There are both deterministic and indeterministic interpretations of quantum mechanics, right? Now, are you saying that the scientists who adopt a indeterministic interpretation that they're just incoherent?
I personally do not understand why they would hold to that. I don't see any reason for it.
I don't see any reason to hold that it's deterministic.
Because it follows what we see. We see cause and effect, right?
Okay.
We do not do cause and effect,
right?
Okay,
We do not see things changing without reason.
Okay, here's the thing.
Okay, so here, no, let me get through this before you just keep running this circle, okay? When I say this is why determinism makes sense, and I B is expected. This is reason why. I'm giving reasons why. I'm not just saying I'm deterministic because I want to be deterministic, and now you just need to accept a determinism, right? No, it's we see this consistency in properties. I've talked about this earlier. Without something to change those properties or the way they interact, I have no reason to expect them to act in any other way. Remaining consistent would be the default. When a person says they can conceive of an indeterministic system where given the exact same prior antecedents, they see a different output, that to me is incoherent. If nothing is changed, why should I expect the output to change? So I'm asking you, what would cause this to happen?
Well, I don't think that the indeterminist is saying. Sorry, I don't think it's an expected thing. I think more the indeterminist is just saying, well, in principle, it's at least possible, right? Like it differs from the determinists because they don't think that it's possible, right? They're saying in all possible worlds, B necessary, but B follows from A, right? But if there's no logical contradiction, at the very least, if there's no logical contradiction, or conceptually you can conceptualize an instance in which B doesn't follow from A, then it would be the case that determinism is false.
Okay, so right, how do I tell the difference, right, between a causal relationship that is merely very stable on the timescales of human beings versus a truly necessary relationship?
It's irrelevant to what I asked.
No, it's not.
It absolutely is irrelevant to what I said. I have a position where when I say I hold to determinism, this is the reasons. And when I'm asking you what can allow for something to be different, you're just appealing to, is it possible that it's just consistent now and wasn't before? That has nothing to do with what I was saying. I'm asking for a reason to adopt one over the other. I'm already going to hold to the position. I'm a fallibilist. I'm going to hold to the position I can be wrong, right? That's not a problem here.
Yeah, but what
I'm not saying that the only way possible. Stop. I'm not saying that the only possible position is determinism, and nobody should ever have anything other than determinism. But when all the evidence is lining up for deterministic systems, and you say that it's possible that it's indeterministic, and you are going to hold to it to be indeterministic, and when I ask you why, your response is just, well, because it's possible, so I'm going to hold to it. You haven't given me a reason to accept it over anything else, or even a reason why you accept it over anything else.
Okay. So when you make that demand of me, right, you are already assuming determinism, right?
No, I'm not.
Hold on.
I'm asking for your justification.
I let you finish.
Don't lie about my position then. Don't lie about what I'm expecting or what I'm asking.
I'm not trying to, and I'm sorry.
Okay, so every time you tell me what I am saying,
but see,
I'm going to respond if you're incorrect.
Listen,
I'm not saying what you're saying.
I think that's an incoherent.
Then you're in. I'm asking for your justification, and you're just rejecting my demand for your justification.
Yeah, because
then you're not justified.
Can I at least explain why I think the implicit in your demand, right, is determinism?
Then you're wrong. You're just wrong. You're incorrect. I have no fucking necessity for determinism.
Are you going to keep interrupting me, or are you going to let me explain?
My argument is for you to be justified, you need to provide your justification. That's my argument.
Let's hear him out.
But your demand is, tell me what's different such that the outcome is different. But only on determinism is that demand reasonable, because only on determinism can you say something has to be different for the outcome to be different. But the very
I'm saying what's different in the positions.
Jordan, listen. Of indeterminism very
not
thesis of
fucking
Hold
following.
on,
You're
hold on,
not
hold on.
tracking.
Wait.
What's
Let me hear what
different
he's saying
in the
real quick.
positions
the
that
position
allows
is
for you to have a different output? Because right now you're not justified. You're just saying, "Oh, I can just have a different output." That's all you're saying.
that is the position of indeterminism.
Then it's not justified.
Wait. I think what's being Okay. I think what's being asked as stepping right. I think Matthew. Let me make sure. Are you asking regardless of determinism or indeterminism? Are you asking what if I was to rewind everything? Why would it be possible that a new outcome could come about? Like maybe if you had no knowledge on whether the system was determined or not, but you were to rewind time with the exact same antecedents, why we should expect
Yeah, I just said this.
something
What
like
is
that.
different in the positions that allows this to differ? Because
let me try putting it a different way.
I've given the reasoning why we would expect it to be consistent.
So
I've said why we expect it to be deterministic.
right.
All you said in response is, no, I'm an indeterminist, so it can be indeterministic.
Well, it's
Why?
because of
Why do
because
you
of the
expect
fundamental
that to
thing.
be the case?
Well, it's because of the thing is, right, when you ask, well, what if indeterminacy, right, allows it to be, in this situation, right, what antecedent is different, or what about this situation is different than determinism that allows it to be indeterminate? That's sort of already, putting this view, right, or this implication that there need be something different of the situation.
I'm not asking about this. I'm not asking about the situation. I am asking about the position held by the interlocutor. What is different
that's the
about
position.
you that
Okay.
allows you to justify holding this different position?
Because on my view,
Hi
there
guys,
is
I'm Syria need help.
No,
Please.
MK. There's no help here for that.
Yep. Jordan.
that the relationship, that causal relationships are intrinsically probabilistic, right?
That's what I want you to
Okay,
justify.
now hold on. Let me finish. So, look, I think that those relationships are very stable, but there's nothing, right, that it requires a further a speculation of a further metaphysical relationship, right? A notion of metaphysical necessity, such that to tie A and B necessarily together, right? You need some kind of notion of metaphysical necessity, not in the strong sense of like applies necessarily to every metaphysical world, but in the sense that that physical necessity is a metaphysical notion, right? That it is a metaphysical, a specific metaphysical relationship, right? And I'm saying that all we ever experience, right, is the conjunction of A and B. And I'm saying I don't think that gives us enough reason to suppose this metaphysical relationship, right? That all we have to suppose is that these relationships are very stable. And as long as they maintain to be stable, we have good reason to think that they are stable, right? And there would be no contradiction if, let's say, fire suddenly didn't start burning things. Like there's no logical contradiction in that, right? Now, I don't think that's what's going to happen because, again, on my view, these relationships are very stable. Okay.
I guess maybe the question is how can you convince somebody?
I didn't ask if it's logically possible. I already told you.
And
I'm a fallibleist. I'm in the middle of talking. Why is it that every fucking time I waited till you were done, man?
Okay.
Every fucking time I've started talking, you've started fucking talking over me. It's really getting tiresome.
Okay.
I never once asked you, is it logically possible? In fact, I specifically told you, I'm a fallibilist. I hold to I could be wrong, and I do not think there is anything that is logically incoherent, logically contradictory about what you're saying. I just don't think it's a justifiable position. All you've done after that is say that it's not logically contradictory. I didn't ask that. I asked, what is the justification for holding that indeterminism is the case? Because the evidence we have shows that outputs lead from their cause.
Maybe my view is that all the evidence we have supports that these relationships are very stable. It does not, in
not
fact,
stable, deterministic. The evidence shows
doesn't,
they are deterministic.
Because deterministic would guarantee that they would last forever.
Give me one example where, given the antecedents leading to a conclusion, the conclusion did not occur.
Okay, the rate of radioactive decay of a uranium atom. You can have
us not having the data to say which atom will decay is not going to state that it's indeterministic. You are stating that given the same prior antecedents, it changes, and it doesn't. There is nothing to say that given the same antecedents, you get a different result. That's what I asked you. Given the exact required antecedents for something to occur, show me it not occurring. You would have to show me a radioactive element that just stopped decaying, period. Because they all decay accurately based in their half-life.
Well, I don't think that he needs to show a case in the world in which it does occur. I think he just needs to show that in principle it's possible. Because the determinist view would be that in principle it's not the case that it's possible, right? Like it's not the case that in some other world.
It's not that it's not possible. It's that it is the case that it's deterministic. I'm not saying it's not possible to be different.
But that would be the same, because like if I were to say it's necessarily the case that this blue ball or that this ball is blue, then that's just to say that in all possible worlds it's blue, right? Which would mean that there's some contradiction in it not being blue. So it would be the case that on the determinist view, in principle, it's not possible.
So again, when we're sitting at a position where we can only use the pragmatic position we're at, both positions are logically possible, right? We're talking about nomological possibility now, I guess is what we'd be pushing this towards. There is no position where determinism is not nomologically possible, right? The closest we can come to is some idea that we are incapable of knowing what the deterministic factors are, so we consider it probabilistic for pragmatic purposes. We've never, ever come to a position where we've just relied on the explanation of, it's just random. Even when we're talking about like the half-life of radioactive isotopes, we don't say, it's random which atom is going to undergo decay. We don't know which atom is going to undergo decay, but we do know that it happens at a very constant rate, that we can actually measure this very specifically, which shows that there is some sort of causal relationship. There is some sort of measurable reason this is happening.
Well, yeah, okay. I don't think the indeterminism.
So again, what is the justification for indeterminism being the case? I'm justifying why determinism would be the case. I want to know what the justification for indeterminism is, because that's what was stated.
I think the justification. So again, indeterminism is not committed to unstable relationships, right? There's nothing about indeterminism that commits you to unstable relationships, right? So, and to the point about the uranium atom. So you have the uranium, two uranium atoms with the exact same number of neutrons, right? And obviously the same number of protons. The exact time at which you get a particular alpha decay event, a beta decay event, will not
be known, cannot be predicted.
Wait, let him finish.
That's very different than not being deterministic.
Wait, Matthew, hold on, let him finish.
This was already covered. It's just restating what was already said.
Let him. Let him. I'll allow it.
I literally just discussed this.
Yeah,
just
I know,
because
but
we don't know
let him get a word in. I think
what
Jordan's
is
been
going to
interrupted a lot.
doesn't mean it's not consistent or deterministic.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying
he agrees.
Hold on. Let me finish.
If everything you say follows consistency and determinism, but you still say indeterminate, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Guys, we do have to let him finish. Come on. Go ahead, Jordan.
Look, I agree that there's not a definitive interpretation, right? What I'm saying is it's an open question, but I'm saying on an indeterminist, you can give an indeterminist interpretation or a determinist interpretation, right? Of that, what's the difference between, now maybe there's some kind of hidden variables, but at least some of the hidden variable theories have been ruled out, right? Because of the experiments involving Bell's inequality, right? Now, that doesn't mean there isn't like superdeterminism couldn't be the case, or I can't remember what the other option is. But there are viable indeterministic interpretations of what's going on there. One of the reasons that I think that indeterminism is the more metaphysically parsimonious view, because I don't have to suppose that there are nomologically or physically necessary or nomologically necessary or physically necessary relationships, right? So I'm trying to work out of a view that doesn't admit that necessity falls out of possibility or contingency, right? That's part of my broader philosophical project.
I see. So, what does this necessity mean, Dick? I guess to you. What does necessity mean here to you?
Yeah. So necessity, like if there's some kind of, if A and B hold some kind of necessary relationship, it just means that necessarily B must follow A, right?
But in like all possible worlds, B follows from there.
Well, you could even just say nomological necessity and just say it always follows in this world. Anytime that there's A, that there's necessarily B will follow.
And then your view, like the indeterminate view, need not account for these necessary relations.
Yeah, I still haven't figured out how you are parsing out the possibility of it being different.
Again, all I have to say that they're regular relationships, and they're
that still doesn't tell me why they're different. That still does not tell me why the output differs.
Because then I don't have this metaphysical commitment, right? That there exist these necessary relations.
Right.
No, you do hold to there being necessary relations.
No, how about the indeterminate?
They're not always. Well, no, you still hold to contingent and necessary. The determinist no longer has to hold to contingencies.
Well, the contingent relation.
Which one's more parsimonious? I don't have contingencies. You don't have necessaries.
Yes,
What's the difference?
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
there's nothing contingent in a hard deterministic system.
What about the initial conditions?
There's nothing contingent in a hard deterministic system.
Not even the initial conditions in the universe?
I'm not required to hold to an initial condition.
So then were they necessary then?
Everything is necessary in a hard deterministic system.
No, because there's a difference between necessitarianism and hard determinism. There's a difference.
You can hold to a necessitarian position in a hard deterministic system. They're not incompatible.
Sure. I mean, but
I don't have to hold to a beginning. I don't have to hold to contingents. I don't have to hold to anything. Only thing I have to hold to as a determinist is that the outcome follows necessarily from its prior antecedents. That's it. Nothing further.
Yeah. Okay.
Jordan, I think
I have only one thing to hold to, period. Outcome follows necessarily from prior antecedent. Nothing more. How is anything more parsimonious than that?
Because to me it's...
What? Is it
I mean, I guess
confusing?
they're equally parsimonious on that view. Then, yeah.
It seems like Matthew is the complete opposite end of your view.
I think that just like the issue would just be some explanation thing or some epistemic thing, because the indeterminist is just stating, right, that we don't see how these necessary relations follow. So in principle, it's at least possible that there isn't necessary, or in principle, it's at least possible, right, that these things can be different, right? Whereas the determinist is saying, well, in principle, it's not, right? These things have these necessary relations, but I don't see how the determinist derives those necessary relations, because I can understand, like, we have the data, and most of the time these things follow, right? Like you could say, well, that they're very consistent, right? But I don't see where you're adding this extra step of, well, they're consistent and they necessarily follow from each other.
I just point towards physics for that.
But that's not how it actually showed. Like, that's not how the data actually shows up in physics, though.
Because every single time you're going to look at the data, there's going to be some sort of change in antecedents.
I guess my question,
right?
Actually,
You're never going to have identical antecedents. But when you look at the math, when you look at the study, when you look at everything we have, everything points towards a causal position. There's going to be variations between that are going to be based in our inability to give an exact same experiment twice. Of course, that's going to happen, but that doesn't point to indeterminacy. That points to just a pragmatic understanding that we can't do the exact same antecedents twice.
Well,
it's not within our ability to test.
I agree that they're empirically, underdetermined, right? That they're empirically indistinguishable.
Then that's no difference than just holding to a deterministic system.
Well, the thing with the physics, but
if it's indistinguishable to determinism,
I don't think the indeterminist. I don't think the indeterminist would disagree. Okay, well, with the physics, right? Well, we can say sure that on paper, right? It seems to be that every time we have these same numbers, it necessarily follows that this would be the outcome. But metaphysically, right? They're saying in principle it's possible there. Like the indeterminist isn't going to say, well, deduction is indeterminate, right? Like I don't think they hold to that, but metaphysically, right? Like it could be indeterminate.
Yeah, that's why I already covered that. I said I hold to the fallibilist position and understand I can be wrong, but all the data, all the supporting information points to determinism.
Well, that's
and
different.
it's a more parsimonious position to hold to.
That's different, though. Like you can say, okay, yeah, like a theist could say it's possible that I'm wrong, but they still hold to God being like necessary, right?
Yeah,
like you can say that
I can be wrong, and I hold it better to be a determinist.
But that's not the contention that they have. They're not saying, well, then if you're a determinist, then you don't think that you can be wrong, right? Well, the contention is just these necessary relations in which metaphysically it doesn't seem to follow, right? That there are these necessary relations. Like when we look at physics, right? Well, on paper, when the numbers are the exact same, then in every world it follows, right? But
any macro scale and any macro scale experimentation we do also supports it. The smaller we get, the more variables interact, and the more variables like push towards different outcomes, because it's much easier to influence a small system than it is a large system.
So I guess, Matthew, I just have a question for you.
The experimentation we do holds to the deterministic position far more than it does an indeterministic position.
It depends. Look, if an indeterministic system, right, holds very, very stable, very tight relationships, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Then how is it distinguishable from a deterministic system?
I'm not saying that it is.
Then why would you hold to indeterminism if it's indistinguishable from determinism and gives you less parsimony?
I don't think it gives me less. Now, I
do
think
you hold to there being any necessary conditions within the entirety of reality?
Not that doesn't emerge out of possibility or contingency. No.
I didn't say anything about like whether it's contingency or anything else. I said at all. Period.
Sure. Out of for me, the way that I understand necessity is as something like an inevitability, right?
It cannot be otherwise. That's all I'm saying when I say necessary. It cannot be otherwise.
Okay.
Is there any positions that are a necessity within your worldview?
Not under the conventional notion of necessity. No.
Under the notion that I just gave, they could not
under
be
the
different.
notion you just gave. No, there are no necessities.
Really? So given like you drop an object, it does not fall.
Look, that's what I think will happen. I absolutely believe that will happen. But
no, I am saying, is it the case that it could float off into space if you dropped an object on Earth?
I have no principled way of ruling that out.
I find that to be an absolutely absurd position to hold. If you think you could drop an object on Earth and it would float off into space, and you think that's more parsimonious, no, I refuse to hold to that position. Not at all. I could not ever accept that as more parsimonious.
Well, I don't see what. Wait.
On a planet with standard Earth gravity, and you drop an object, you could not say it's a necessity that it falls.
I can't logically rule it out.
Absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd.
Granted,
we're talking non-logical possibility
I would bet
here.
on that every time, right?
Then there's no time I wouldn't bet incredulous.
Wait.
Then you're just being incredulous.
Okay. I just want to get a word in. Matthew, do you think if you were to like, do you think that is a possibility that if you were to like slam your hand through the table, that maybe there's some chance that your hand will face through?
And the chance that happens would be based in the deterministic way that the atoms are aligned during that specific instant.
Then
it would not be a probabilistic. It would not be a probabilistic thing. It would be a deterministic thing. It would be determined by the current position of every atom involved within that system.
So when you ask Jordan about dropping the ball and it floats, right? That wouldn't be dependent upon the way the atoms are like arranged.
No, it wouldn't be dependent on anything. He's in an indeterminate system. He's saying that it would not be determined by the system, that it would be indeterminate, meaning it could be otherwise, meaning instead of falling, it could stay stationary or it could float. Because it's indeterminate what would happen. It is not necessarily causal by the antecedents. And I'm saying the antecedents, such as gravity, are going to make it unnecessary for that object to fall. Okay. It could not be otherwise. It will fall.
So, Jordan, are you saying that you hold to indeterminism because it's logically possible?
No, so like I said, there's a few different reasons. One, I still think that the burden is higher on, when trying to address the problem of induction, I think the burden is higher on the determinist. The other reason is that I think that as a determinist, you either take Matthew's route and are a necessitarian, or you allow indeterminacy at the initial conditions. So
yeah, I don't know why you would ever hold to an initial condition. We don't have information of an initial condition.
Well, but here's the problem: is then it seems like then there's got to be an in-principle reason why the world happened exactly the way that it did.
Yeah, right? It's prior antecedents.
Right, but why is it? Why those prior antecedents? Why do we have
their prior antecedents?
But for example,
I will answer with the exact same answer every single time. Because their prior antecedents.
Wait, do laws have prior antecedents on your view?
Yeah, every effect is caused, and would be the cause of the next effect.
Okay. It seems like
the laws are just descriptive anyway.
Why are we confused then?
like where does the very notion of possibility even come from then?
Yeah,
right?
that
This
comes
is like
from
modal
our
collapse,
lack
right?
of information. It's not a problem. Modal collapse in this system is not a problem because I don't have contingencies. It doesn't matter. Modal collapse doesn't matter in this system. People seem to say they use modal collapse as if it's an issue. It's not.
It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, in hard determinism, in a necessitarian position, modal collapse doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Well, I mean, some people think that's a bullet to bite. You don't have to think that. But
nobody's ever been able to tell me why it's a problem. Doesn't change anything.
Because it seems like on that view that contrastive explanation is impossible. And I think that's primarily what that explanation is constituted by.
Yeah, anybody who holds to their position and says that their position is the position would think that a contrastive explanation isn't possible. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of holding that position is you do not think the contrastive explanations are possible.
Okay,
that's the whole point.
I mean that's fine. Well, I don't, I can't say anything to that in the sense of like, but I do hold to that what we're looking for an explanation is contrastive explanations. So
yeah, so I do hold to fallibilism because I do not have access to all data, nor do I have the ability to parse all data in a way that I could make accurate predictions of literally everything that's going to occur, right? I do not have access to every variable. That would be fucking ridiculous for me to even assume so.
I guess the question is...
So I do hold to fallibilism, but hard determinism is far more parsimonious if you hold to the position of things being contingent and necessary within any other system.
So, Magic, in your view, the future has already been determined, right? Essentially.
It's not determined. Any effect is determined by its prior antecedents, but those effects haven't occurred yet. So they're going to be what they're going to be. But when people say like predetermined, it makes me think of like fated or designed, and it rings theist in my head, and I just don't like that wording or verbiage. I just say that whatever occurs falls necessarily from its prior antecedents, and just leave it there.
So the future is yet to be determined in your view?
Yeah, it hasn't been determined yet. It will be determined by its prior antecedents when it occurs.
So you could act... Okay, so... Okay.
But given the state of the universe plus the laws of nature, there is an entailment, right?
What entailment? That there's only one output?
The future states are entailed by.
Oh yeah, it's linear. There isn't a branching like timeline of possibles. It's there for everything that occurs. There is only one output. Those outputs just haven't happened yet. The determining factors haven't happened yet. Some of the factors that are going to determine those determining factors have, right? Like if we're talking about a chain, the like X amount of the chain has occurred and the rest is waiting to happen.
So if I was to go to the future and I saw Matthew drink milk, Matthew could never not drink milk.
Yeah, because every single factor is what's going to occur. Now, I don't hold to time, like time travel being possible, because you would end up with paradoxes of like, if you traveled to the future, saw something occur, came back, would your knowledge of what's going to occur in the future allow it to be different? This would just be like paradoxical or some sort of like weird concept. But if it is the case that like on X date in the future, Y happens, then it's no way for that to change.
Also, Jay, did you want to say anything?
I forgot. Never mind. I think maybe I think Jordan's trying to ask a question about like like you hold like necessitarianism, and I guess maybe Jordan was trying to ask something like what explains like the necessitarian view, like why it explains was it something like that, Jordan? Like you were asking what explains the antecedents?
I mean, I think you have to. Well, at some point, you just have to take that, like the gosh, I had a good phrase for this, but I'm not remembering it right now. But it seems like what you mentally that you would have to do something like take the laws as brute, right?
I just take the laws as descriptive. Laws just describe property interactions.
So when you say that you do describe, are you just saying they explain the data?
They're just observations of the property interactions that we see in the universe. They are not prescriptive. They don't cause things to occur.
So you're a Humean, or at least in the traditional use of that term, about laws, but you think there's metaphysical necessity?
I use emergent properties as discussions rather than metaphysical necessity. It's just a little verbiage on this, but I just break it down to what I mean when I'm saying these things. Necessarily just means that that it could not be different than what it is, right? And any effect is going to follow necessarily from its prior antecedents, which means given a set of antecedents, what follows could not have been otherwise. When we state like laws of physics, all we're stating is that when we look into physics, when X happens, Y is the result. These are just these are just descriptions of the properties. No more. They don't cause anything to occur, right? Us having a law does not cause light to not go any faster or go slower, right? It just states that this is what happens.
And okay, well, I guess because I'm sympathetic to that, but it seems to me that that's always that it's hard to move from that to necessity.
Oh, I don't move from that to necessity. That's not what I do. Those are just the answers of the questions you gave in the orders that you gave them.
So those two things don't have anything to do with each other?
Maybe you just said maybe
other than they're part of the same system.
Oh, so you're not saying that? You're not saying like it's necessary. It's necessary in like every world. You're saying like in this particular world, is this the case that it determines something? Maybe some other world would be determined, but like the laws could be different or something.
In all possible world semantics, when we say this world, other world, whatever, these are just other possible world semantics. It's not saying that there are actualized other worlds. To a determinist, there is no other world. To a necessitarian, there is no other possible world, because the things that occur follow necessarily from their prior antecedents in all cases.
So for you, metaphysical possibility and nomological possibility collapse, they are just the same thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
What is like physically possible is nomologically possible. What is metaphysically possible is nomologically possible. Now I can discuss like logical possibilities under differing frameworks because I understand them and use them in discussion, right? Again, I'm a fallibilist, so I look into other positions and I try to understand them and see what kind of parsimony they hold and what kind of position justifies them. But I don't hold to them being the case.
And how do we get metaphysical knowledge? Like, so how do we know that these things collapse?
I think that's just an emergent property of like humans and their minds.
Okay.
Which is going to be a deterministic outcome from the way that neurons interact.
Hmm. Mm. I think I'm sympathetic to Jordan's view, though. Like, I think I somewhat Yeah, because when I apply like
A lot of people are.
some kind of many worlds type of theory, I think of like what Jordan is trying to tell me.
Sure, yeah, something could be otherwise. Humans love thinking that things could be otherwise. We do it all the time. We like, what could I have done differently to make the situation better? What could I have done? What could I have done differently to score better on that test? What could I have done differently to win the ball game instead of lose the ball game? Right? We have hindsight. We have regrets. We have hopes and dreams. We always hope for things to be able to be different. Doesn't mean that they can be. We have a predilection for wanting differences in outcome, but the evidence shows that we can't change the outcome.
Well, it's not just past oriented; it's future oriented too, right?
Oh, I know. That's the reason I said hopes and dreams.
But what I mean is, it seems like in principle. So, like for example, like let's say my father is planning to. I'm supposed to inherit a signed baseball, okay, like a World Series baseball or something. And he hasn't given it to me yet. So, and he lives, wherever he lives, and either there's a fact about whether that baseball is there or not, right? That's an unambiguous case of that's merely only an epistemic possibility to me that it's in there, right? But as a fact about the world, it is either in there or it's not.
Yep.
Right. But the way that we think about and treat those things is different than how we treat, what am I going to do tomorrow? And that's not to say anything about free will, right? I don't
hold the free will.
Right. Right. Obviously.
Yeah.
But as an agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way that I have to think about these things, in a way that it seems like I practically have to treat them as something like ontologically open, not merely epistemically open.
Yeah, and that would be the pragmatic position. That's exactly what I was talking about when I was talking about pragmatism in this. Since we don't have all information, we don't know all variables, we can't predict all interactions, we have a position where things like chaotic systems appear to be the case, or randomness seems to occur when we flip a coin, or something's indeterminate when people are making choices. We can't be sure what they're going to do. Right? We have all these things that appear to be the case, but those are just things happening due to their prior antecedents, which then become the antecedents for a future effect.
Quick question:
Yeah.
Are counterfactuals relevant in this conversation?
Well, counterfactuals are always false under Matthew's view.
Yeah, there would be no such thing as a counterfactual. There'd be posed counterfactuals, but there wouldn't be any like actual counterfactuals.
It's a kind of error. I mean, it entails a kind of error theory about counterfactuals.
Oh man, this is getting a lot higher and a lot more abstract than what I thought this would be. But okay, if that's what you're willing to do, go ahead.
Kaz, I just saw your question. It would be hard determinism, but I would hold to being a pragmatic skeptic.
Hello.
Yo, what's up?
Hello.
What's up?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Yo, no.
All right.
So I just wanted to ask you something. You asked the question, why should I believe or trust in that Christian God?
Yeah. Hey, real quick before you get started, I don't want to interrupt you when you're actually going. My kiddo woke up. I'm gonna go put him back to sleep. I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, see you. Never again. Anyhow, I wanted to ask the question of philosophy, that if you have an apple in the woods and it falls, does it exist, or is it just like, if nobody sees it, did it happen?
I would
depends
say
on who you ask.
Yeah, it depends on who you ask.
All right. So if I'm asking you, why should you trust the Christian God, what would be your argument for, and what would be your argument against?
I don't really have any arguments like for the Christian God. I mean, like I guess I'm a fan of like Alvin Platinga's work, some of it, but I mean, I would say like I'm basically agnostic. So when people ask me like, does God exist? I say like I don't know, and I think there's good arguments for both sides, I guess. But like I'm highly skeptical of the Christian God. Like I typically use the problem of evil, divine hiddenness, mass confusion, scientific inaccuracies in the Bible, contradictions, a wide range of stuff.
Okay, I think that's interesting what you talk about. It's more likely that you talk about like Satan rather than Christian God, to my opinion, and the scripture. But it's interesting to hear how you're reasoning. And when you say you're agnostic, do you mean gnostic or agnostic? Because even if you say you don't know, it seems like you have taken a standpoint towards the direction that the Christian God is not like relevant for you.
Stop.
I don't know, like I'm agnostic. Like I don't know whether the Christian God exists, but I am highly skeptical of like the Christian God or any gods at all, really.
Okay. So are you an atheist?
I mean, psychologically, not philosophically.
All right. So when you die, do you believe that you cease to exist, or what happens to you?
Yeah. So whenever I pass away, I'm going to cease to have consciousness, and my body is going to decompose, and my energy is going to be transferred into a different form. So I think I'm just going to...
a different form and energies. That's interesting. What kind of form is that?
Yeah, so I think like our body contains like energy and nutrients, and like whenever we pass away, I think we decompose into soil for plants to grow.
Are you a Hindu or Buddhist?
No, not at all.
Are you a devil worshipper? Because they tend to talk about energies as well.
Hey, yo.
Oh, no.
Okay, so are you like a free spirit?
No, but like I do hold to like energy can't be created or destroyed as posited in science.
So it's eternal? The energy is eternal?
Yeah, I think energy...
But it's not a soul, it's just an energy.
Yeah, I think energy just changes forms.
It changes forms. That is what Satan also does.
Well, like I don't believe Satan exists. I don't know if he exists.
Maybe you don't know the word for it, but you're describing him.
I mean, I don't know. I guess if you want to describe him that way.
Because if you don't believe in God, you probably don't believe in Satan. So if you met Satan, you would not know him. Or if you met God, you would not know him either.
Yeah, are you saying like Satan is energy, basically?
What kind of energy is it? Is it like iron? Is it hot? Is it like fire? Or what kind of energy?
Oh no, like I'm asking, like, how would you describe Satan?
How would I describe Satan? Yeah. Oh, it's easy. It's just I would refer to the Bible. It's like it describes it well. I don't have to use my own like perception of it.
Okay, so what's that description?
If you ask me this, I have to assume that you're searching for something you really don't know. If you really don't know, I'm assuming that you are a non-believer or a Satanist who is thinking that you can have a map to some certain things that are described in the Bible. And if you are, I can't help you, because even if I would say, you would not be able to hear. And if you're a listener, it's like pointless, because you still wouldn't be able to understand.
Yeah.
So I don't want to waste your time nor mine.
Yeah, like I would just say like I'm a non-believer and a skeptic.
Yeah.
Like I'm curious like about what people.
How do you explain religion to a non-believer? Like how would I explain that? If you don't believe, how do I explain that to you? That's too difficult.
You can give an argument for God. You can give an argument for God, and maybe that could be a good starting point.
No, the point of departure would be like either you know God or you don't. If you are presented with all kinds of spiritual, arguments and evidence, and you still don't buy it because you don't know what they mean. It's not up to me to educate you about like what God is or is not. It's not up to me to educate you about what the devil is or isn't. It's about you to find out. And if you don't want to study, if you have like a crash course and think like, okay, if you give me the map, I will get there. It doesn't work like that.
I guess maybe the question is that maybe he's been presenting the view and he doesn't see any reason why he should think they're legitimate.
Say that again?
He's been presented the evidence and he doesn't see any reason to believe the evidence is legitimate.
He is presented the view that the evidence is what?
He's been presenting some of the evidence to why the evidence doesn't hold it out.
But the thing is, like, I'll have to say something to you. Jesus does not have to prove himself to man. That's simply not the case, that he's on trial and has to prove himself. Either you believe or you don't. It's the other way around. If you're talking about like Book of Revelation, man has to prove himself to God. That's the case.
For example, you don't believe. You don't believe like Buddha. Zeus is a true god, right?
That who? Zeus.
You don't think
Zeus?
Zeus
I don't know. I don't know. Greek mythology is like I don't know about that. You know, you have sub gods. You have Egyptian, Greek, different types, African. You have sub gods.
What about Allah? Do you think Allah is the true God?
I'm not a Muslim.
No, but do you think Allah is like the real, like the true God?
I can answer like this. This will be my last answer for you. I can say that Allah is the name of what in his prophet is it that you believe, because Jesus is saying that he is God. So if you believe in the prophet, aren't you supposed to believe in the prophecy as well? That is what I believe, and that's what I don't understand. So I can't answer that. I can only say Allah means God.
So you can't answer if you like Abraham or any other God exists.
Bobby, your hand is over your mic.
You're a little muffled.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm asking, you can answer like any other god, like Braham. Those are, you can't answer that. They are, like, if I provide you with evidence of Braham, would you believe Braham?
I said there are sub-gods, but there is a difference between a god and a god. You have a god, you have like, let's say a devil worshipper who can do like some sort of level 0 black magic or voodoo or something like that, like a Freemason. And then you have like a god who is more powerful. That will be a number of gods who are like really tapping into wisdom, and then you have a God who can create the world in 6 days. Yeah. And to my opinion, there's only one God who has demonstrated how he has created the world in 6 days, and other things that no other God is really demonstrating that type of capability. So because of that, I think that if you prove God, you don't prove that he's more powerful than God.
They're asking you why, like, Braham, I guess the Hindu god, also demonstrate that he created the universe and other gods and stuff like that. Why should I take your version over that?
You don't have to. You can take the version that you want.
So how do you know which one? Do you make sense, Madeline? Do you believe in true things, right? You want to believe in as much true things as possible.
Yeah.
You don't want to hold like false belief.
Exactly.
So you believe your view is probably the right belief, right?
Say that again.
You believe that your view is the right belief, is the true belief.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
Yeah. So what makes it
I don't say that there's a contradiction. I'm just saying that there are different.
There is a contradiction because those are two separate, completely different gods.
But okay, so you tell me what do you believe in?
I'm just asking, like, let's just say, I'm just asking what makes your view right, or why you hold it to be true.
I didn't say that it is. I said that if you know God, you know. If you don't, you don't. If you ask questions like, show me what God looks like, and you can't see, then nobody can paint a picture for you to describe what God looks like so that you can believe that he exists because you have seen him. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess I was just wondering why one should believe in God at all.
You spend a lot of time asking why one should believe in God. I respect that. But my time is running up because I feel like it's no point. Like we are, to my opinion, I believe
Why
that we're
did you
in the
come up on
end
this
times.
panel?
I believe that we're in the end times, and as such, I believe that there's no point of trying to convert like
Why did
people
you request?
now.
Why did you request up on this panel? I'm
Because you
curious.
asked, why should I believe or trust in the Christian God? And you
Yeah.
put forward your case about what you believed. I put forward what I believed, and that is what we have done. And I don't see that there is point of prolonging the discussion.
So you came up just to talk about your belief, but not to like actually.
That's the prompt.
Well, yeah, you didn't give us any reasons for why we should believe or trust in the Christian God. That's the whole point.
I guess you just came here to say I believe in God, and that's it.
That's
I
it.
said to you, even if I would, you would not understand.
So why'd you come up if you're not going to give any reason?
Because I wanted to know what your reasoning was.
Okay, well, we gave it to you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Have a good one, okay?
You too.
Bye.
Sometimes there's people that just. I think it's fair to her. To be fair to her, she just. People that just have priors for supernatural in their life. If you either two things is going on. Either she just really holds the belief just because someone told her, or maybe she actually has some priors of supernatural events, and that's why she holds to believe. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, with that, I guess I'm gonna call it a night. Today's been awesome. Jay's live was lit.
Yeah,
Shoot,
I really wish. Next time, I think next time that BlueSky comes in, because I still don't know, because I hate the fact that Jay ended the live so soon, because at that point where I asked him, okay, so you have an account for evil, and he said yes, then let's give you a definition, we'll move on. But then Jay's live ended right there, because it's just like he just wants to pin you down on semantics. Because it's just, look, if you think the Holocaust is evil, and I give a definition and I use the Holocaust as an example of such evil, I then agree with the definition, like, cool, give me your definition since you also believe the Holocaust is evil. And then what could we just use that? I don't like, if it defines, well, it's evil and defines evil as some privation of good, then we just investigate what good means there. Right?
Yeah.
And then if good just means God, that doesn't really help us understand why the Holocaust is evil. It just, so like, he doesn't. I just don't think he realized that if he wants to just pin people on definition, I just think that could. If he wants to just pin people on definition, I just think that could work against him too, because being bogged down in semantics. Okay, bog me down in semantics, but then I could just do the same to you. The problem of evil still stand as the problem of evil because you're just trying to account for evil. You could bog each other down in semantics, but if you understand smaller costs to be evil, it's just to say what accounts for the smaller costs. That was I wish I don't know. Well, I wish he was back, so because I felt like I was about to get him on that, and then just Jay ended it live.
Yeah.
Prematurely.
And I think like I was struggling to define evil, but I think like by the time the live ended, like I gave a pretty like substantial like definition of evil.
Wrong with the evil. I don't understand this whole like you need to flesh out the view for the internal critique, because I do think Judge Jim is right. Just like, this is what you mean by evil. You gave this example. This example exists in the world, and then he wants to tell you, well, this definition feels weird. Let's investigate this definition. I was like, okay, cool. Let's just say my definition is worthless. Do you believe there's evil in the world? And if he says no, I think he's just bit a huge bullet like that. If you truly believe there's no evils in the world,
yeah.
Right. At that point, I don't know. Like, I think because if he says no, there's no evils in the world, then that's just you could reduct it that in any kind of way. But if it does say yes, there are evil in the world, give us the definition, and then resume with the argument. It was just so useless semantic battle.
Yeah. Also, like, there was something else that I said that people in the comments like didn't really understand. I don't know, herbal giraffe and like herbal giraffe like likes to follow me around and like laugh in the comments, but I don't really care anymore. But like, it's kind of this weird dynamic where like I said, like I don't really care what people think, and I think like I don't like I have confidence in myself, but I mean like I do care what like some people think. It really just depends who. I mean, like I think we all like want to have friends and family that like love us. So like it's a balance. It's like you care sometimes, but then also like other times it's like you don't really give a fuck. Like it depends on the person.
Yeah, I think it's always a good balance. I do. There are people where I do care about your opinion about me, and even like not even ironically, even on TikTok, you know, and not just real life. So it is, but I think the balance will always come in where like you also need to have this like emotional fortitude where even if this person was to leave or something was to happen, that it doesn't break your world. You know, like like I don't like for maybe the Witten example is like, yeah, I know I've seen Wade crash out a couple times and just like do like for example, Rasol is Witten Rasol. I think Rasol is going to be even a better example here because I don't know what happened. Like sometimes I look at Rasol and I just never really understand why he does the thing he does because it's like he wants to fight everyone. Now, there's some people that I get it, like, yeah, people clown him, bro, on his underdog and shit like that. But I feel like you want to fight people that don't even call him out. Like, I was just, like, you've been calling me out recently. I'm like, bro, we could have a debate. We could argue some, and forgive me. The bit about me is that if I really want to, like, really take on Rasol on a debate, if I really want to come on these panels to really fight people. I'm really coming to understand your view and see if it makes sense. I'm not sure I'm here to like really bash the theists like other people are. But Rasol wants to so badly antagonize everyone. And you can I think there's a point where I think you ban him or like presidents like I just view people like that just to be like, I don't know, maybe because in my real maybe because in my real life I've seen people that are just unreasonable. So it's hard for me to see them as like, unfortunately, I do see them as human, but I just don't see them as rational. I just see them as this like tornado that just kind of talking,
Yeah, I think like Russell has the same attitude I had whenever I like first started TikTok, like first year on TikTok. Like I think like a lot of people like clown Russell and say like his arguments aren't that good, and like Russell is like the underdog. He's trying to prove to everybody that he's good enough. And like I think like the first year on TikTok, yeah, like I wanted to debate everyone and fight everyone and prove that I belong here. But like now I'm just like I'm doing what I love. I don't have to prove to people anything. I just do what I like to do.
Just chilling. I think Rasol is still trying to like do this weird fighting thing, but like again with like people that you like and like Slim and I Wonder and stuff like that, and people that you put in, I think it's good to make friends. I think we should always try to make friends that like.
Oh, you're muffled.
Sorry. I think it's good to make friends, especially friends that we feel like, man, we could like just confide in, just like maybe over a pier or something, like Mount Bonnell and shit. I don't know if you've been to Mount Bonnell. Just like sorry, I got my microwave in the back. Just like talk to maybe really like confide in and stuff like that. But I always still think that even if someone does you dirty, you should always like remain somewhat of a bigger person. I'm not saying that you should be a pushover, but you should always like still be like calm and collected, just like, you know what, maybe bro's going through a bad day. Like I always I try my best to see it from people's perspective. I really do. Like maybe that's why it's so hard for me to like really get too mad at people, because it's like if Rasal doesn't like present, or someone doesn't like me, if I was to put myself in their shoes, it could be the fact that they really, like, I wonder, they really hold the Christianity near and dear to their heart. They hold it very near and dear. They truly view it as a way to like save the world and something like that. So if I'm like saying, hey, I think the view is wrong for XYZ, they'll it's like I'm, not stomping at their baby. So maybe that's why they act in such a way. So if I think of it that way, then like, all right, I'll just wouldn't engage with you, because you probably just are not able to engage in conversations. I wouldn't take it too personally, because like joy on them, And I think when that hits you, man, you will really be enjoying all this. Like you really wouldn't even be like Sir said, like even if Wit was to do this shit, you could let her. You could like unblock her and just do her shit. You just kind of ignore her. You just kind of let her engage, but you don't really think much of her because she's just kind of living her life. You wouldn't let her presence like give you like you don't want to have someone have like mental control over you. You don't want someone to like have like some kind of just the sight of them like does something to you. You don't want to do that. I think when you let that shit happens, when you let someone's just very existence piss you off, or just like take over, like live rent free in your head, I think that's when they win. And I think that's when you kind of lost. I think you could just like view them as like they're just there. We're just two people with two different views. Two human beings with two different views. Maybe this is how they act. You don't agree with it, probably they got some repercussions. And it's just weird. But like, you're gonna keep it pushing, man. Just you wouldn't give them you keep like, I get why you do it too, because this is your way of like being emotionally like preserving your emotions and being like emotionally like regulated. You're trying to like protect yourself emotionally, so you want to do all these steps. But I think when you learn to that next step, when you're able to like still see them and it doesn't fuck with you, kind of like with I Wonder, like you unblock I Wonder, and it doesn't fuck with you. That's the best feeling, man. That's the best feeling when you're able to do something when shit like that is the case.
I agree.
But I'm rambling, man. I'm rambling.
Oh no, yeah, but like, yeah, I guess the goal is to try to be the bigger and better person, and yeah, set boundaries and stuff. But I don't know. Yeah, like I'm working on it. Like I'm literally like
all a balance.
Yeah, like I'm literally cool with like I Wonder, but then like, yeah, like I call Wit like a single mom Eastern Orthodox drunk.
Yeah, it's just this whole balance, man. Like, of all the times I've been kicked and talked, like people have called me out for being like trash or like this, that, the third. Like I'm surprised. Like I've been low key like present and like Rasal and like who like I think very recently Bell. But
wait, Bell's watching.
Oh shit. Like there's Dingo. But genuinely, I don't hold anything against any of these people. Like all of this is just good conversation to me. Like I wish I could actually engage with Presence. I want to know what he's thinking, why he feels the way. Like I wonder. And I guess Bell too. But I'm not, yeah, I could throw some shade. That's just the nature of the game sometimes. But I don't think I ever really mean it, and I will apologize afterwards. But like, one thing I try not to do is just like, hey, like they'll kick me, mute, block me, and stuff like that. But I just think of it as like that's just how conversations go. Like maybe you could have like Justin W, for example. Like when I first met Justin W, he really like was on me. Like he really was on my case. But then talking to Justin W more and more, we just clicked. I mean, I just like I don't even philosophically speaking. I think there's times where maybe like people
are you guys atheists or are you guys you Christians or?
Oh, we're atheists. Oh, do you want to say something, Mike?
What'd you say?
Did you want to say something?
No, I agree with you guys. I'm on the same side as you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We're just shooting.
But I appreciate what you guys do.
Absolutely, thanks. Yeah, we're just shooting the shit before we go to bed.
Yeah.
Are you going off now? All right, boys. Have a great night. Okay.
Later, Mike.
Right,
yeah, it's just like I don't know if like all the times I've been muted and said, "Ah, man, you're stupid. You don't understand the view." It's just I don't know. It just doesn't do anything to me. What I hope is that I could come back and engage because I do want to understand your perspective. Like it's kind of like Jordan say. I find it like an interesting puzzle where this person has this view that kind of feels like incoherent to me, but I want to see how it makes sense through their lens and why it works, and maybe I could make that same argument better and present it like imagine like maybe the reason I'm atheist and someone like I want this present is because it's a misunderstanding of my inability to like regurgitate their argument. Because right off the gate, the argument feels incoherent, but maybe I'm thinking about it from like some atheistic angle where she be like maybe seeing what's like psychology is going on in their head and what makes it. Because like I wonder, for example, he believes when he used that word objectivity, he really means to say just absent of human minds.
Yeah.
But if you really like maybe think about it from his perspective, he truly believes objectivity means absent of human minds. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that perspective is so like, yo, that's crazy, bro. Like he took objectivity and sort of defined it in a wrong way.
But think about it. It's not just him, but even redefined. It's in the same boat where bro legitly stormed off, crashed out because of an idiosyncratic. But that's genuinely how they see the word. That's why they believe in objectivity, and it's just interesting. Like I hope like when I engage in these conversations with like I wonder and tell them why. Like when we mean the word objectivity and why he's using it in this sense doesn't really mean anything. Like we just mean when we use objectivity, this is how we mean to use the word, and most people use that word. Like, and you can still like form an objective view around Christianity under like this standardized definition. But I don't know, just have fun. I mean, I'm rambling, bro. Just.
Oh, there you go.
For the most part, I think if you're gonna have this TikTok shit blow up, you really might as well have fun with it. Just don't worry or at least right now, don't worry too much on the brand. Just be consistent. At least like be consistent. Be like kind of innovative, and have fun.
And have fun.
Don't let people piss you off, and don't like bring up like old drama. Let that shit die once and for all.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, yo, when people be like mod abusing or like kicking me off the live, like bro, like I'll be behind my computer and that shit makes me like livid, bro.
Nah, for real. It does like for a second. It does low key kind of piss you off. Like, damn man, not only did bro they even blocked you. Like, damn man, is it that deep?
Bro.
But then like you I forget about. For me personally, I just forget about it. Like, actually, I will actually forget about it the day later. Like I will get pissed off at the moment, but like the day later, I will actually not give a shit anymore. It's so interesting how that works for me. Like I will actually go back to your live just because I'm interested in what you guys just interested now. It's just a show to me. honestly.
Yeah, bro. Like,
So I like.
Oh, good.
No, it's just no, just I'm legitimately just having fun. But like, what were we saying?
Oh, like I was saying, like if I'm like in the middle of a sentence trying to like correct somebody, and like I'm on a Christian's live and they're like spreading misinformation or something, and they boot me like mid sentence, then yeah, like I'm in my room like shaking my keyboard, and I'm just like, yo, this
Honestly,
is crazy,
I'm at the
bro.
point where I'm at the point when I'm engaging with some people and I know they're wrong. I'm not sure if I even want to correct them. I'm just kind of curious the logical end of their reasoning. Like sometimes correcting them is such a huge like rather than correcting them, I think I find it more fun just to go down the rabbit hole of their reasoning and just to see how it ends, and then maybe gingerly introduce like the opposing view and see if they will agree with this view, like the standardized view. But I need to say no. I just genuinely just hold to this. I'm like, and then I could like try to like run some reductio on the view, and to see, well, if you hold to this view, this is technically a reductio of the view, at the end of the day, and see if they still like after running like some reductio, they still see they still want to hold it. Like I don't want to argue with them. I just want to like have them see the absurdity eventually.
Yeah.
But no. But anyway, all that aside, man, I just have fun, man. That's all I gotta say. That's really all I gotta say to this. Uh,
Mariano, thank you. So let me see. Let me check for you. Okay, let me check for you. Numbers 19. Wait, let me check for you. And then 36, 19, and where? 19th and wait here. 36. Oh, wow! Like you got the Gojo ones. That's very cool. All right, thank you, Mariano. Thank you so much for supporting us. I have seen your orders, and I will ship it to you as soon as possible. Okay. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, just be back. Nice. Just be back and let me know. Okay, when you receive the shirts, be back and let Hannah know. So Hannah can congratulations. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Guys, if you have received a shirt and there's some like if you have any question, just let me know. Rock. All right. Natalie, did you finish your order? Natalie, let me know. Natalie, if possible, get your order on the live stream for the free shipping. Okay. Hello, real humble. Did you finish your orders? Do you have any free Epstein shirt in stock still? Oh no, my friend, I don't have that one. Michael's, I don't have like that one. Michael, you asked for like a very hard sort to say. I'm trying to one moment, please. Okay. I'm gonna wait for you. Okay. I'm not gonna wait for you. I mean, I'm just gonna put the Akaza right here. All right. All right. This one is very nice too. I bought them all too late. Sure free. Let me see if I have truthfully. All right, wait for me a minute, guys. Truthfully, right? What? True. Free dirty shirt. Maybe you guys still have free dirty shirt. He's trolling Hannah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so naive. I'm so innocent, guy. I'm so naive. All right. Guys, let me know if you need me to support you anything about the styles and about the colors. Real humble.